Next on America's Day at the Races, it's Friday action from Aqueduct with the late pick 4 sequence coming up. The 7th appears to be anyone's race to win. Can Life Changer bring his best in his 6-year-old debut? He looks to return to the winner's circle after 3 narrow defeats at the level. We'll head to Hot Springs, Arkansas as well with live coverage of the late pick 5 and look ahead to Saturday. That's where the road to the Kentucky Derby picks up from Oaklawn with a $2.3 million Colt Arabian Night making his second start after an eye-catching debut. And Olivia Twist puts her perfect 3-for-3 record on the line on the road to the Kentucky Oaks. And the Martha Washington, can she keep her streak alive in her Oaklawn debut? All that and more coming up on this Friday edition of America's Day at the Races. It's brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. Good to have you with us on our Friday coverage here on FS2 here in South Ozone Park, New York. We'll get you out to Hot Springs, Arkansas as well. And we have the entire crew joining us from all over the place. Greg Wolf, Anthony Stabile, good to be with you here as we get set for this Pick 4 coming up here in New York.
How are you, sir? 1963 for Peb, 1863 club up at the old Spa. We're like a little under 6 months away from Saratoga. Nice day here today. We got a fast track at the Big A today, fast track down in Hot Springs. We got a little bonus coverage from Tampa later on. And we got the Kentucky Derby Trail underway tomorrow afternoon down in Hot Springs. Yeah,
we're going to talk plenty about that coming up. First things first, our feature here today in New York. That's the 7th race. First allowance condition, 6-furlong sprint Life Changer, a 6-year-old trying to get through this A other than allowance, making his 6-year-old debut coming up. That's John Terranova. A few more days for the bug for Jose Gomez, Eclipse Award winner. And this is a look at him in action.
Yeah, you know, I wound up picking this horse later on today, Greg, coming off the just about 2-month break missed by a neck to reggae music man here. He doesn't strike fear in his opponents, if you will. He's won 3 of his 13 starts, but he always comes, he almost seemingly comes with an A game. It doesn't always get him into the winner's circle, but he always seems to get a check, having hit the board in 10 of his 13 tries, especially recently. Board finishes in 7 in a row. 1, 2, 3 finishes in 7 starts in a row, dating all the way back to May of 2022. So, yeah, he always comes with a big effort. He's risen through the ranks from claiming races through starters and regular straight allowance races now, and we'll see what he does now. And here's C's Get Degrees on Johnny I Day here at the Big A. He was able to just lead them all on a merry chase.
David Jacobson, one of the 2 runners he's bringing in. This horse, wow, disappointed badly at 1-5. Penn National last start before that. In the slop, Aqueduct, 90 buyer in a dominant when he's got races that could just decimate this field. What happened last time, though?
You know, he didn't even run him back, David Jacobson, that quickly. He gave him a little over 3 weeks, a little less than 4 weeks. He was 1-5 in the night up in Grantville,
was a
PA,
heated pace
and he got the
in
job
that race.
done. Yeah, well, that's the problem, right? He's the kind of horse, it looks like when he's able to control on the front end, he's a little more, he's a little bit tougher than he is when he has to duke it out on the front end, and we'll see what happens in here. I would imagine a horse like Catch You Soon, the number 4, who's right to his outside, first-time Lasix, put some pressure on him early.
All right, that is our feature. That is race 7 coming up. Kendrick Carmouche, he's already won 2 today. He'll be aboard. C's Get Degrees ahead in that main event. Here's today's action presented by Claiborne Farm. So races 5 through 8 still to come. We're 13 minutes away from race 5. We're fast on the main track today. Oaklawn, they are fast as well in Hot Springs. Races 4 through 9 coming up, including that late pick 5. And 9th at Tampa Bay in Oldsmar, Florida on the turf. Non-winners at 2 Life claiming race. Turf listed as good out at Tampa Bay. You can play all the action as usual by getting signed up and started with Naira Bets. That's the offer, that $200 deposit match sign-up bonus. New members punch in this code to get that offer, match $200, and you're good to go. Go to NairaBets.com, bet any track, anywhere, anytime. All right, so let's set up race 5 here. This kicks off this pick 4 sequence, an allowance optional claiming sprint. 6 furlongs in here, and Rosa Veloce, Lilu figured to dominate the wagering in here. Right now, Rosa Veloce at 3-2, beat by a graded stakes place runner, Union Lake, last time out. She has speed in her corner. Manny Franco will ride. There she is, Rob Atras, 5-year-old mare who is a 7-time winner in her career. We'll have more on this field, including the post-parade when we come back on America's Day at the Races.
Whether it's Division I or Grade 1, top athletes have certain traits in common. Speed, strength, class, versatility, and most of all, willpower. Claiborne Farms Stallion, War of Will, was a Grade 1 winner on both dirt and turf. Now, his first foals are taking the field.
We're back on America's Day at the Races on our FS2 coverage. Thanks for spending part of your Friday with us. It's brought to you in part by legendary Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. 9 minutes away from the start of the Pig 5. Coming up, 6 furlong sprint here in South Ozone Park. An allowance optional claiming field. That is the mirror we showed you going to break. Rosa Veloce brings in a formidable resume. Manny Franco, Rob Atrish. She can do it on the front end. She can sit and stalk. She's the 8-5 choice. We head downstairs for more. Welcome back. Good to see you again. Acacia Clement. All right, we'll figure that out with Acacia. Some audio issues. Your take here on Rosa Veloce.
Yeah, I don't know how, if she replicates her race two back, and even though the Bayer fig came back, in my opinion, extremely low last time. These figs have been a little not about to take on the premier figure maker in all the land. And I mean, I'm going to go after a guy who is just put on this mountain by many people. These figs have been coming up very strange. There have been horses that have been running figures that they just haven't come close to running in their careers here on the circuit this winter. And then this horse runs this 102 figure, comes back 7 weeks later and comes back to a fig that has been more along the lines of what she's run
back to earth
throughout her
typical,
career.
Yeah.
But I think she ran much better than this fig. I think Union Lake is a really nice filly who she ran against. This is the day she beat Beguine when they ran that insane fig. Beguine came back and ran really well behind Wind Machine Betsy Blue, who just keeps on going. I don't know. I feel like Rosa Veloce has these over the proverbial barrel. And to me, the horse that I don't think Lilu is the horse she has to beat. I think the other filly that's in her atmosphere, if you will, is She's a Little Edgy. And she has so much recency on She's a Little Edgy. We haven't seen She's a Little Edgy since May of last year. So I feel like Rosa Veloce has so much of a recency edge, it's not even funny.
Yeah, 10-1 right now, and she's a little edgy. We'll have more on her coming up. Lilu, though, 2-1. Kendra Carmouche looking for number 3 today. She's tactical. She could be very close to whoever is in front. And 4 for 9. She has a knack to get her picture taken. She's won 3 of her last 4 as well.
Yeah. Listen, she's been in good form. Dave Duggan's done a really good job with her. Even over the summer when Nacho Correas had her up at Saratoga for a couple of starts when Dave didn't have her. She's been in fine form. She's won on all different kinds of racetracks, wet tracks, sealed tracks, fast tracks. She's won going 6. She's won with a little bit more ground. Yeah, there's no real knock on her. I just feel like I can't believe the price difference between her and She's a Little Edgy. David Aragona, our crack morning line maker, had them 5-2 and 9-2. Lilu 5-2. She's a Little Edgy 9-2. The public has them 2-1 and 10-1. I do not agree.
Meanwhile, you take away that one performance, that win we showed you from Rosa Veloce, and you wouldn't see 3-2 probably on her. You'd see more in the range of what Lilu was at. I didn't think a lot separated those two. Here's Patty H. She's taking money as well. 5-year-old mare for Tony Dutrow. And Dylan Davis will be aboard. She's been first or second in 9 of her 16 starts.
She had that bang-up second to Mosienko, who's also in career form. And since then, boy, talk about coming back down to earth. She ran 2 of the worst races she's run in 2 years. And she's just, she is attending, I don't even want to say attending paces, Greg. She's a couple lengths off the lead, and she's just falling apart the last 3/16 of a mile in these races. She's doing no running. There's no answer the last 3/16 of a mile. When these fields turn for home, she is just completely checked out. So, she's, I'll tell you what, she's the third choice in here. She's taking an awful lot of money in here. The fact that She's a Little Edgy is that price and Patty H is as short as she is very surprising to me.
Here's Hydra. We're going to kick off the post parade with his 7-year-old mare coming off a win for Jeffrey Engelhardt.
2 in a row, 3 of her last 4, 5 of her last 7. She's in nice form. This was a little bit of a surprising win last time out. Let's see if she can do it on the raise.
She's a Little Edgy, went by 7-time winner off the bench, and here's Rosa Veloce.
See if she can take them flag fall to that's all and make it 3 of her last 4.
Eloquent Speaker at 18-1, biggest price on the board.
Yeah, State Bred tries Open Company again. It's been tough for her, a tough go for her so far.
Lilu, we mentioned the record. She makes a nice appearance, too.
She's looking to stay undefeated against Open Company, having run through her State Bred conditions.
And Patty H., here she is at 7-2. Dylan Davis for Tony Dutrow.
Looking to refine her form and come back to that race that she had off of the 9-month layoff back in October.
Pick 4 again begins in this race coming up. Pool closing in on 50,000 and growing. You can follow along with all the action today with the stats of the horses, trainers, jockeys by downloading free Equibase past performances. Go to NYRA.com/TV schedule and download your free PPs for all the races we have on today's program. So pick 4 starts here. Long layoff for the 2. She's a Little Edgy with more. Let's go to Jonathan Kinchin.
Yeah, Wolfie, I like the 2. She's a Little Edgy. Now, the 253-day layoff is a concern. She hasn't really had a layoff like this to try to compare how she'll come back in this situation, in this spot, off of such a long break. But, with the price that she is, I don't really need the answer to that question. I feel like I'm getting paid to find out with her price as high as it is. And really my thing here is it's not so much that I love She's a Little Edgy. I do kind of love her price. It's more that I don't like the fact that they're betting Rosa Veloce the way that they are. I understand. To Anthony's point, speed figures, the higher the better, like a quarterback rating in football. It's sometimes it's not an exact science, although it is the science I trust most in this game. But one thing I will say is that when numerous figure makers have a figure low, I start to kind of trust that maybe that race wasn't very fast. Timeform US didn't have that speed figure very fast last time. Bayer didn't have the speed figure very fast last time. And so off of that race, I just simply have to play against her. Now, there's a lot of circumstances of that race. Maybe she's going to run much better. She's going to run kind of back to some of her previous races. That's fine. She'll just have to beat me at this short price. I'm going to go with the 2. She's a Little Edgy and hope that she likes this break. She runs well, fresh here. I don't love her draw, but like I said, it's one of those situations where I love her price, so I can kind of forgive some of the negatives, the layoff, the draw, so on and so forth.
All right, JK, thanks. Yeah, I mean, she's quick, has speed. You like to be preferably outside the other speed in this race. She will not be, but she's finished ahead of Rosa Veloce in the past.
She has. The break's a concern for a multitude of reasons. Obviously, she did not go to the bench in the form she was in voluntarily. You wouldn't think. That's one. Two, she is drawn inside the other speed. And quite frankly, the biggest thing is she's not as fast as Rosa Veloce. Rosa Veloce is faster than her, especially under these circumstances. In the Rob Actress barn, with the recency, I would imagine she's a little edgy, is going to come back on edge, no pun intended, with the layoff. But yeah, Rosa Veloce is naturally faster than her, and I would imagine is going to use her speed under Manny Franco a bit more.
Can play along on today's program without risking any money at all, but you're competing for real prizes. The Showdown contest. Get involved and hopefully see your name climb that leaderboard and have some bragging rights at the end of the program. Go to nowhere.com/showdown. Punch in your selections, and good luck to everybody playing.
We're going to tell you another reason to go over to that website a little bit later on in the program.
It involves you, doesn't it?
You're going to have a chance to beat the Big A. How about that?
The Big A being Anthony Stabile.
That's me.
Yeah, looking forward to that, and a chance to win premier tickets to the Belmont Stakes.
Yes.
All right, we'll tell you about that a little bit later on. 6-5. Rosa Veloce, that 3 in the background. Manny Franco, a couple of weeks ago, he could not be stopped. He had 11 wins on Friday through Sunday, including equaling an Aqueduct record 6-win Saturday afternoon.
That was something that day. That really was. And, he is – we talk about who's going to take the next step, right? We're always looking for that next star, especially here on this circuit. I think it's expected of us to produce. That sounds a little cocky, right? But I think it's expected of this circuit and this colony to produce the next big thing. Who's the next big thing?
Well, maybe it's the man on the 4.
Maybe.
Who took home some hardware last night.
Congratulations.
Eclipse Award-winning apprentice Jose Gomez.
Well deserved.
And you said, he's got early February. He's going to lose that
I believe it's February 9th.
Weight allowance?
Yes, I believe it's February 9th. He got a COVID, and I want to say an injury extension. That's why his bug is continuing. Yeah.
Seemed like a slam dunk. He's been tremendous.
He has been. Angel
Cordero Jr. mentoring him. But that is a tough transition to make. Apprentice to journeyman.
It's something that probably gets overlooked. It's probably one of the toughest things in sports to do when you lose that apprenticeship, you lose that weight allowance. And it's something that is not as prevalent as it used to be, but it's still something that's really tough to do, especially here. And if you decide to stay on this circuit, it's something that's very, very tough to do. We've seen some fantastic riders have to leave and come back. John Velasquez had to leave and come back for a little while.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Even money favorite right at her morning line. Rosa Veloce trying to collect the 8th win of her career. There she is. Manny Franco on board for Rob Actress. We'll see if she gets it done here to start off this late pick 4. Heavy favorite. Lilu not far behind at 2-1. Kendra Carmouche looking for number 3 right there on the 5 filly. Let's go upstairs. Chris Griffin to get us started in the pick 4.
All in line. All set. And they're off. Lilu's got speed, and towards the outside there is Patty H. Rosa Veloce in between horses, and at the rail, she's a little edgy. It's a scramble on for the lead. 4 across the racetrack, the 2 at the back. Eloquent Speaker and Hydra. Plenty of pace on as She's a Little Edgy. Eric Cancel, they want the lead, and they're up by a half length now. Rosa Veloce is right up alongside here from second. 3 wide is going to be Lilu. 4 wide is going to be Patty H as they move into the far turn. 22 seconds flat for a pumped up opening quarter mile. She's a Little Edgy's got the lead. She's a Little Edgy, Rosa Veloce, and Manny Franco, they're ready to pound stalking from second. Under a full drive is Lilu in third. Still wide Patty H from the back. Here comes Hydra, and Hydra starts to make up some ground, is now 4 off the lead with Eloquent Speaker at the back. Rosa Veloce is ready for the cue up on the outside. Still at the rail, though. Has some run as She's a Little Edgy. It's these two right now at the top of the stretch. Rosa Veloce now called upon, and here's Rosa Veloce up by a full length. Back to second, She's a Little Edgy. Lilu trying to make up ground with Patty H. Inside the final eighth, Rosa Veloce is striding away. 16th to go, and Rosa Veloce is now 3 lengths in front, set right off the pace, and an easy winner here. Rosa Veloce gets the score. She's a Little Edgy. We'll grab second over Lilu in 1 minute 11.77 seconds.
She's a Little Edgy. She was sharp off the bench. She actually went to the front in here. Rosa Veloce, Manny Franco content to sit right off of that one. She had no problem with this field.
No, she wasn't. And you know what? On paper, she wasn't supposed to. I was not worried about the lack of figure last time. Like I said, sometimes you just have to go with what your eyes see and not what the figure tells you. And you know the company she kept last time was just better than the company she was keeping today. And Manny kind of knew that the filly in front of him was going to run out of some, the tank was going to hit E sooner rather than later. I'll tell you what, I want to bet She's a Little Edgy back. That was a very, very nice return from the layoff. She ran herself into a filly that's going to have to run against Stakes Company last time because she's out of allowance conditions now. And I think you've seen a couple of nice efforts here today. 9-1 on She's a Little Edgy. They bet this race really strangely to me, Greg. I didn't think there'd be such a big gap between She's a Little Edgy and Lilu. I certainly didn't think that Patty H would take the money she took in here.
Big effort off the bench. Not enough against Rosa Veloce, but She's a Little Edgy. Certainly one to watch next time out with a race under her belt for Gustavo Rodriguez. Rosa Veloce, though, 6-5 winner as the favorite to kick off the late pick for Manny Franco. Rob Atras, and a 5-year-old mare collects the 8th win of her career as we go to Oaklawn, race 4. Mile and a 16th, $10,000 starter allowance coming up. 8-5 favoritism, flat out winner, the 6 who we'll get to. We start here with Eskin for it, just claimed.
Yeah, first off of the claim for Tim Martin, who's having a tough time at this meet. Ran at this mile and a 16th last time for a barn that is going well. Big price and should be.
We know we're going to see speed from leader of men, Ron Moquette.
Yeah, Ron was had a great start to the meet. Quieted down last week. This horse is 0 for 7 locally. Does feel like is facing a little bit of an easier bunch today.
Colosi, 2 back, actually beat leader of men and flat-out winner.
Yeah, could use a little pace on in here. He might even want a touch more distance despite getting the job done at this price, at this distance last 2 starts back.
Double-digit odds on the 4 Jingle, and here's a 6-year-old.
Yeah, stretching out from a couple of sprint races at Horseshoe Indy and Churchill in his last 2 when seen 2 months ago in November.
Hell or High Water at 9-2 here. Bentley Combs trains and comes in off a gate-to-wire win.
Loved the muddy sealed track in his local debut when he took him gate-to-wire last time. Figures to have some company on the front end with leader of men today.
Here's flat-out winner.
Just missed last time by a head. He's kept some good form since returning from an August layoff. A couple of races at Hawthorne and 2 here at Oaklawn.
13-1, Promising Shoes. This one just claimed.
Another one taken from Carl Broberg. That's a tough row to hoe. This one made up some ground late to finish 3rd last time out again. Has to do it now off the claim.
And Zaffa, 12-1, Gabriel Saez for trainer Aaron Shorter.
Went turf to dirt off a near 2-month layoff in that on that muddy track race behind Hell or High Water last time. Made a little bit of a middle move and then tired late.
All right, that's your field. 3 minutes away, 4th from Oaklawn. Let's go live to Hot Springs. Check in for the first time today with Paul LaDuca.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, another beautiful day here at Hot Springs. Everybody anticipating tomorrow, obviously, with the big race of the Southwest. We also have the Martha Washington as well as Bob Baffert is shipping in Arabian Night. Supposedly, Bob will be on site. If he is on site, we will have it for you here on America's Day at the Races. But let's get to so far what's happened here. Kim Poole pulled it off again, Greg. Another 20-1 shot that got bet down with Rocco Bowen, won race number 2. And then a bomb long shot in race number 3 for Tyler Bay. So if you're live in these early pick fives, my goodness, good luck again. These pick fives have been just monstrous at this meet, and it does not get any tougher than this race, at least in my opinion. The 3 Colossi, you know, when you go back 2 races ago when he faced Leader of Men and Flat Out Winner, he had a little bit of trouble that day, and that was the first time he had been on dirt in a long time. And usually when you have 8-year-olds that have been on the turf for so long, you know, sometimes they really don't want to go back and change surfaces. But when you look at his PPs, 5 of his 8 wins are on flat dirt tracks. His last race over a muddy racetrack, Flat Out Winner was able to turn the tables on him, but Colossi has looked like a horse that he's never really liked a muddy racetrack. I love that Nick Juarez was aboard when he won that race, and he's aboard again. Nick's a little bit more aggressive, and I think that the 3 can stay close in here. And as for the 2 Leader of Men right now at 3-1, I mean, can this horse get away from this group? I get it, maybe, but have we seen this movie before? I just think that this horse will get hounded most of the way. Hell or High Water, the 5. I thought it was a heady claim by Bentley Combs. Bentley has done good with his claims, and maybe this horse can stay a little close. And then you do have the 6 Flat Out Winner. You can't ignore a horse that has a second, 2 wins, a third in the second on the form. So the son of Flat Out is in really good form. So I'm not arguing with anybody that does like the 6 in here, but I'm going to take a shot with the 3 Colossi here because I'm getting a good price at 5-1 with Nicky Juarez.
All right, Paulie, thanks. We'll see how it plays out coming up. Yeah, Nick Juarez on Colossi, 2 back. That win where he beat Leader of Men and Flat Out Winner that we talked about. But, wow, 8-5 on this 7-year-old, who at least you know from Flat Out Winner, he usually brings this race.
He does, but, you know, the Hawthorne races, I know the figs are they're kind of gaudy. He got a lot of pace to run into in that November 19th race, Greg. They went 24-1, 47-3. That's a 23-2 second quarter. And he's even money to begin with. So he goes into the race as the even money favorite, and then he gets everything that could possibly go his way. And then he comes to Oaklawn, and he's on top of a more tepid pace, and things don't go his way, and then he gets what looks like a perfect trip, and he doesn't get the job done. I don't want that price on him. That's too short of a price.
We got some old veterans in this race, including J.K. Flat Out Winner, a 7-year-old trying to get the 6th win of his career.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think these starter allowance races are usually, like we've talked about before, some of the most formful races outside of stakes races. These horses get qualified for these conditions in order to be in the race, and then they kind of change what kind of animal they are. And I just think Flat Out Winner is a different animal than he was when he got qualified. And I think that last time, you know, he lost ground. He was wide all the way around there going 9 furlongs. So although he seemingly got a nice trip, it wasn't perfect. And I think that now the light cutback, the small little cutback to the mile and a 16th, he's drawn towards the outside of his main competition, and he's got a little bit of a foundation. He's been running well. Basically every start since November has been a good start, in my opinion. I just think he might be too tough for these. You know, the only other alternative I have is another short-priced horse in the 5 Hell or High Water. So just give me the one that I actually think is the best horse, and that's the 6 Flat Out Winner.
Great movie, by the way. Hell or High Water.
Sure. I like Leader of Men on the quick turnaround. Back in 2 weeks. I think he ran too poorly to be believed last time. And I think he's going to get loosey-goosey on the front end here, my friend.
Yeah, Rafael Bejarano, that's the 2. We'll see if he can open up a lead on this group. Vic Stoff for the call. Here's the 4th from Oaklawn.
They're at the post. They're off. Hell or High Water and Eskin for it show the most speed. Flat Out Winner and Colossi are next. Then comes to the outside and Promising Shoes. Jingle is taken back off the pace. Inside of him goes Leader of Men, and the early trailer is Zafa. Not much pace on at the clubhouse turn, and the veteran Eskin for it is the leader. He's a length and a half in front of Hell or High Water in second. Then comes Colossi at the rail, a 3 wide flat-out winner. A 5-wide Zoffa, Promising Shoes just inside of him. Jingle's in that mix as well, and here comes Jingle all the way up into third. And now the trailer is Leader of Men as they turn and run up the backstretch, and the leader is Eskin For It. Eskin For It has the lead. He's a half length in front of Hell or High Water. Jingle has moved up to be a joint second, and the rail's open for Jingle if he wants to go all the way through and challenge for the lead, and he does. Here's Jingle head and head for the front. Flat out winner, Colosi, Zoffa, and Promising Shoes make up the next flight, and they're all about 2.5 off the lead. Leader of Men has trailed throughout, and the leader is Eskin For It. Hell or High Water alongside. Now these two sprint away from Jingle. He's back in third and a length from the front. Hell or High Water puts his head in front. And now, more than that, when they get to the quarter pole, Hell or High Water is going to be a clear leader. He's a length and a half in front of Eskin For It in second. Flat Out Winner is third in the yellow cap. Could get into second soon, but Hell or High Water has the jump at the top of the stretch. He leads by 3. Eskin For It is second. To the outside and Flat Out Winner, Jingle at the rail. Hell or High Water a 16th out with a dominant lead. Hell or High Water now 5 lengths in front. Then Flat Out Winner and Eskin For It, but it's Hell or High Water and Martin Garcia far in front. Hell or High Water won by 6.5. Flat Out Winner second, Eskin For It third. Colosi finished fourth.
Hell or High Water, this 7-year-old just in really sharp form right now. Back-to-back wins at Oaklawn in the mud today on a fast track. And some of the horses we thought were going to go to the front, they did not get anywhere near the lead in here.
Well, this was a combination of that. Leader of Men, I've shown more interest at a salad bar than he's shown trying to get to the lead today.
He was last early.
This was unbelievable. And combine it with what Jonathan said. Hell or High Water got eligible for this race, and he's kind of turned his career around. He won the starter 12.5 last time. He wins the starter 10 today. He won the last race by 4.5 lengths. He won this by about 8.5, 9. So, 7. So, nice job by Bentley Combs and the team.
Yeah, horse sharp right now, 2 for 2. The switch to Oaklawn, paying dividends. Back in New York, Rosa Veloce, Rob Atras, Manny Franco, Robert Durr owns 5-year-old mare. She's won 3 of her last 4.
Yeah, she's just in really, really good form right now. Like I said, she's out of allowance conditions, Greg. They're not going to run her for a tag after the races she's running in her last 4 starts. You'd imagine we're going to see her in a stakes race around here, or maybe even out of town in her next try. But this is right off the pace under Manny Franco, a 5-length victory there under the line. She's a little edgy. That was a nice effort for second. Good exacta. She was 9-1. She played it in the place pool. She played it in the exacta. Yeah, nice effort by the winner.
Claim for 32,000. You can see why they put her in for 30. She had 2 terrible efforts and looked like she might have been done. She has completely turned things around now with a new barn. Rob Atras, as we take a look at the late pick 5 follow along. Patrick the Great starts it off at $10 winner to begin the sequence. And now your favorite, Rosa Veloce, here in leg 2. Long way to go. 3 legs still remain. We're going to take a timeout. We'll look ahead to the road to the Kentucky Derby that picks up tomorrow in Hot Springs, Arkansas. $2.3 million colt, Arabian Night, showing up for Bob Baffert in the Southwest as he tackles 2 turns in start number 2. We'll have a preview coming up.
It's a domineering display by the ultra-talented McKenzie. McKenzie in a dominant performance.
300 won't do it. 300,000. 275, you 275,000. 75, but to get 75, 275,000. 250, I'm Ralph now, 250,000. Here, but to get 2, but $200,000.
Who you betting on? How about an app created specifically for horse racing? Naira Bets. We specialize in thundering hooves, fist pumping, and boosting your bankroll with robust weekly promotions. And offer betting tips from actual horse racing experts. Bet all day and night, nationwide. Get the action and thrill of horse racing with Naira Bets.
Every hair, every muscle, every contour, every pulse. In the juvenile.
Essential Quality have won.
In the Belmont.
Essential Quality has won the Belmont Stakes.
Well named.
This season at Oaklawn, we've got more of everything. More of the top thoroughbreds in the world. More days of live racing. And the largest purses in our history. All at a completely reimagined Oaklawn. Come be a part of this historic season at Arkansas's only casino resort.
You're watching America's Day at the Races on our FS2 coverage. It's brought to you in part where you can play it all at Naira Bets. Get signed up and bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Go to nairabets.com to get signed up and started. Back at Oaklawn, hell or high water. New tactics last couple of starts for this horse. Going to the front, 7-year-old, and it has paid off with back-to-back wins.
Speed kills, my friend. I don't know why people won't use their horse's speed more than they do. But Bentley Combs and the company, over a 10 strike, have decided to do that. And Martin Garcia, he won plenty of races on the front end. That Bob Baffert guy used them plenty. And they've done it with speed. And this horse has certainly turned his career around a little bit. Big figs. This was his best fig prior had come on the turf, and now he has a good figure in the wet track. And I would imagine today's buyer is going to be even bigger. He got 1060 last time, 820 today.
Paul talked about how big the pick 5 is going to be. Final leg is coming up. That 50-cent pick 3 there was over $1,000.
Wow.
Just to give you an idea. Back to New York. Race.
Would you have it for $6?
One day. We all wish for hits like that, don't we? One-turn mile coming up. Non-winners at 2 lifetime claiming race here. $25,000 tag. Even money early. A lot of attention on this horse. Salute to America. You came all this way. We didn't have you ready. Hopefully start number 2 here. It goes better. Let's go back to Acacia.
That's what we hope, Greg. Trying this again, and apologies for technical difficulties earlier, but the team has me back up and running. But taking a look at the number 2, Salute to America, is owned by My Racehorse, which we've come to notice that these horses do tend to take a lot of early money, which we appreciate the support of the ownership group as well. And this horse is taking a significant drop in class. Last time out facing that open $50,000 company and on a wet track as well. Kind of hit the gate, just never looked comfortable, rallying a little bit, but just never really seemed to be getting into stride, on top of the fact that that was on a wet track. I do like the mile for him. He has a little bit of nice stretch to him. He looks very fit coming in here today, and I just think this is a proper level, hopefully more than anything, and under Manny Franco, he can get out of the gate a little bit better today. The number 6, Strong Light, is one at a bit of a price that I was intrigued by. He does turn back from trying the 2-turn mile in an 8th last time out, in which I actually thought that he ran okay. He was rallying late. He has kind of that grinding running style, and this was a horse at the beginning of his career. I remember Connections thinking very highly of him, but mentally he was all over the place. He seems like he's really gotten a lot more focus as he's aged, and he does come in here looking very fit, looking really well turned out. I also like the cutback to the 1-turn mile for him in here. I think that that should suit him. And he's going to be a bit of a price, and maybe we'll get a little bit of a setup, one that caught my eye here in the paddock and off of the way that he ran last time out. The 7, Cheeky Tico, comes in off the back of a maiden win last time, and that was off of a layoff too. So it looks like that freshening had done him well. He does step up to the proper level in the subsequent start. I thought last time out he ran okay in that performance. One thing I had noticed about him was that he was a horse that looked like he was a little bit awkward switching leads, and throughout his career, he's never been the smoothest of movers. And he kind of had his head turned to the outside last time. He doesn't look like he's the easiest to ride. So that's something I'll be keeping an eye on in his warm-up for Dylan Davis, who has ridden this horse in the past. And it seems like after trying different surfaces, different distances, they found the spot that does suit him well. I do think that he'll need to take a bit of a step forward coming in off the back of that maiden win, but maybe that freshening has done him well, and he has come back a better, stronger horse. Greg?
All right, Acacia, good to have you back. That's the horse who's likely going to be the favorite when the gates open, Mo Rewards. Right now, 7-2. Don't count on that price. Blinkers coming off today, Rudy Rodriguez, who had a win earlier on today's card. He's got Jose Gomez post-parade for the 6th when we come back.
Flight line is in full flight. Flight line turns it on at the top of the stretch, and he's in cruise control.
And Flight line takes off.
Take a good look at this, because you're not going to see this too often, maybe never again. Flight line, 20 lengths clear.
World-class racehorse, world-class performance at a world championship event.
Thanks for being with us on our Friday action here on America's Day at the Races. We're getting set for race 6 here in South Ozone Park, New York from Aqueduct. 25,000 non-winners of 2 life. 1 turn mile ahead. Or a salute to America, as we talked about, and we do often on this program, these My Racehorse runners usually attract a lot of attention on the tote board, and this horse has been favored throughout to this point. That should change when the gates open, but here is the runner who is dropping from a 50 race to non-winners of 2.
I don't know, Greg. He's been even money, and now he's 6-5, and there's only 5 minutes to post. And his best race came at this 1 turn mile, 2 starts back when he ran at this level.
Here's Centavo, big number, 39-1.
See if he tries to go to the lead again like he did last time. He wasn't going to get there going 3/4, but maybe just cut back to the 1 turn mile, and an aggressive rider does that trick.
Storied Fellow went by at 9-1 for Kevin Boniface, and here's Gimme Back My Bullets.
First off, the claim for Eddie Barker. This is another one showed some speed last time, albeit a slower pace. We'll see if Kendricks is aggressive again today.
Strong Light. Here's the 4-year-old that Acacia was talking about.
Cut back to a 1 turn mile today. Kept on coming, going the 9 furlongs last time in a race where they came home very slowly.
Cheeky Tico has a couple of big numbers against Better Maiden Special Company and came off the bench to win.
Yeah, dropped to the bottom for the 20 to break his maiden, going 7/8. Got there in time. We'll see if an extra 1/8 of a mile helps his cause today.
And Mo Rewards, Rudy Rodriguez, Jose Gomez.
Blinkers go off. He's back in for a tag. He cuts back to a mile. He gets back to a fast track. I don't know. I wouldn't let that eased worry me as much as I ordinarily would last time out. I don't know. It was a funny race last time out for him.
All right, we'll get back to him in a moment. I want to remind everybody you can earn a $15 bonus today just by playing with Naira Bets. Bet $75 each on Aqueduct at Tampa Bay Downs. And you'll get that bonus whether you win or lose in your account. You do have to opt in. Don't forget that step. Go to NairaBets.com, opt in, and play today. So 4 minutes away here from the 6th coming up. Let's get back to Mo Rewards. Actually debuted on dirt, Saratoga, a couple summers ago. And you win at Saratoga in your debut. I don't care what kind of race it is. You have some talent. He was able to do that. And then he went to the turf for the next 4 starts of his career.
Yeah, he won a slow maiden claiming race at Saratoga. Slow is putting it very nicely. 55 speed figure, 112 final time for 3/4 of a mile in for 75 in a 6-horse field, first time out on closing weekend. He did not do much. And then, like you said, it was right to the turf. He was in for a tag.
Well, to the bench and then to the turf.
Bench and to the turf. Yeah, right to the turf, though, almost 10 months later. And he didn't do a ton of running in his turf races. It took him an awful long time to get him back to the dirt. And when he made his way back to the dirt, he was in for the 40, right in for the tag. Nobody bit. He got eligible for those starter races. First time in the starter. I don't know what happened last time. He was being chased along, and then he just stopped, and Dylan kind of protected him the last 3/16 of a mile or so. But now he's in for the bottom, and almost the bottom for the 2 Life, and I don't know.
Come back to work 3 times since that when he was eased. 5-2 now on Mo Rewards. Let's go to JK.
Yeah, I mean, look, Mo Rewards just kind of, from a speed figure standpoint, doesn't stand above a lot of these, but I like to draw towards the outside, and I'm going to just pretend the last race didn't happen. Now, if he runs poorly again today, then you have to start taking into consideration these poor runs. But if you look at his race 2 back, the trouble that he had and the speed figure that he earned makes him very likely winner of this race, right? It just suggests that he can run better. If he runs a little bit better than that figure 2 back, he does have a figure edge on the rest of these. So I'm going to give him one more chance. I'm going to give him one more chance in this spot. I like where he's drawn. I just couldn't really get into anyone else, and it's also kind of nice to say champion apprentice jockey Jose Gomez aboard as well. And so hopefully the 8 Mo Rewards runs well in here. And I know Acacia's a little bit interested in the 8 as well.
I am Jonathan, and I waited to talk about him trackside because I wanted to see how this horse warmed up, given the fact that he was eased and protected last time. I do find it encouraging that Dylan Davis sticks after being aboard in that last race, but I agree 2 starts back with that bad break, and he took up pretty sharply that day and just kind of kept on pretty well, and he is now your favorite. Right out of the post parade, Dylan took him immediately away from the pony, gave him a big warm-up. He was the horse that was the standout back in the paddock from a physical perspective. He seems like mentally he's more focused than when I had last seen him. And sometimes with those blinkers off for a horse that maybe can be a little bit hard to handle or a little bit high energy, and maybe one that doesn't have the propensity to always break as cleanly, taking the blinkers off can actually get them to settle a little bit and just see their surroundings a little bit more and have a little bit more comfort in that. Hopefully that will help Mo Rewards, and I do think that outside post will be a benefit for him given some of the bad habits he's had in the past, Greg.
All right, Acacia, thank you. 3-2 favoritism to the morning line favorite, Mo Rewards. Meanwhile, Salute to America. Still taking money, not the favorite anymore, but he'll have the inside post here, Manny Franco, Tom Morley, 5-2.
I think when you pick this horse's PPs apart, he should be the favorite in here. And it sounds ridiculous. Tom Morley's been allowed to run this horse one time for this level. He got to be 3 1/4 lengths to a horse that came back to win a starter. He ran against horses in Color Me Potsy and Blitz to Win and Dangerous Edge 3 back, where he had no business being in the same starting gate as those horses. Last time he ran against the 50 against straight 3-year-olds. Lord Gatling and Good Skate, they're much better than what he's facing today. Much, much better. But they're straight 3-year-olds, now turned 4-year-olds, so he has to run against the older horses today, but he's already faced them and fared well against them. I thought he made a ton of sense today, especially with all of the questions Mo Rewards needs to answer off the East.
There's the 6 stepping in, strong line. I thought he was interesting as well. He's got a lot of thirds, almost half his starts. He's been a third-place finisher, but he's been running consistent figures that put him in the mix with this horse on his best and Salute to America. We'll see how it plays out. Let's go upstairs. Chris Griffin, the call, race 6 from New York.
All in line. All set. And they're off and breaking a tangle there with Strong Light at the back of the field. Mo Rewards has early speed in between horses. Give Me Back My Bullets, also Storied Fella in the early mix with Cheeky Tico. They line up across the track. At the rail is going to be Salute to America. Right in behind this leading group is going to be Centavo. And after the start, Tall Task for Strong Light, who's the trailer, already 10 lengths last. They come out of the chute, and Storied Fella has got ahead in front of Gimme Back My Bullets, who's going to stalk from second. At the rail, here comes a move from Salute to America. Also moving forward, tight hold, nowhere to go, is Centavo. They went 23.30 for that opening quarter mile. Up on the far outside, Cheeky Tico is trying to rally on there with Mo Rewards, and they're chasing Storied Fella, who's now clear, is up by a full length. Losing some ground was Gimme Back My Bullets. Tightly at the rail is Salute to America as they've got half mile left to go. Cheeky Tico is 3 wide, 4 wide. Here comes Mo Rewards, and Mo Rewards is passing rivals quickly, coming after this leader, Storied Fella, the big long shot in front. Centavo's got some clear running room, and from the back gets Strong Light. 47 seconds flat for a half-mile time. Storied Fella is still there and doing it well so far. Storied Fella is up by a length and a half, and now widening the margin a little bit, is up by 2. It is going to be Storied Fella at the top of the stretch who's got the lead. Mo Rewards has every chance, but this long shot is getting away. It's Storied Fella who's up by 3. Mo Rewards to the outside of Cheeky Tico. On the grandstand side, here comes Centavo. Does Storied Fella have enough? It's Storied Fella with a furlong left to go, has a 4-5 length cushion here. Storied Fella is opening up on the field. Storied Fella at a number 22-1 pulls off the upset in today's 6. Storied Fella over Cheeky Tico. Mo Rewards in a photo with Centavo in 1 minute 40.11 seconds.
22-1. I mean, you don't see long shots at that kind of a price win as easy as we just saw from this 4-year-old.
4-year-old New York bred who had not won since last June at beautiful Belmont Park, going gate to wire against fellow New York breds. Jorge Vargas, the speed of the speed. There was a scrum coming out of the chute. There were 4 or 5 of them trying to get to the top, Greg, and Jorge Vargas and Storied Fella, son of Dortmund, got to the top. And to say he made every pole a winning one, they turned for home. There was a quarter of a mile to go, and there was very little doubt at who was going to get their picture taken this afternoon at the Big Ed. He was home Jerome at 22-1 at around the quarter pole. Nobody was coming. I believe the chalk, yeah, he held third over Centavo.
4-7, 8-3, a 61-1 shot. Be a nice superfecta to have here with 22-1 on top.
Cheeky Tico, a name we both like to say an awful lot.
My favorite name.
Good for second.
Jorge Vargas Jr., Kevin Boniface, Tri-County Stables, huge upset at 22-1. We'll have those prices for you coming up. We go back to Oaklawn, race 5, and here's our post-parade mile and a 16th state-bred first allowance condition race. This is Mocha Kiss.
Mocha Kiss is going to stretch out off of a couple of sprints and a May layoff. Just the second start back in the Stewart Shea barn.
Shy T, just a moment ago, was the favorite. Same price.
Another one stretching out. This horse had a couple of distance races, but that was way back when for a different barn. She's a different filly now. I don't know if she deserves favoritism, but don't go off those other 2 distance races.
Courtney Fay, Orlando Mojica, big price.
You see these Arkansas breds coming off layoffs, so you're going to see them needing a race and stretching out, and that's another one. All the first 3 fillies all fit the same criteria.
CC Harbor going to move turf to dirt.
Haven't seen her since September of this year. She gets back with the state bred. She's another one that has some state bred form.
Rivercrest Girl, this one only win came on grass.
Yeah, she was on the grass. She's only faced state bred once. That was in her debut. We'll see if she needs one under her belt.
Sweetness 2, 30-1, just missed at Oaklawn.
And she's hit the board in both of her starts at this distance, including a victory.
Sounds like it's a lot softer last time out. It's a big step up. The 7, War Music, big price as well.
Yeah, she's a big price, and she should be. She has some recency, and she did not fare well facing state breds from the rail last time. She got some post relief in post 7 today.
Blow Some Smoke, going to stretch out.
Yeah, another one leaving the Broberg barn. 2 in the last race did not fare well. And you see this one, the daughter of Texas Chrome, trying 2 turns for the first time.
Flowers for Chantel. This one did have a win going longer, going to stretch back out today.
There's your win at Oaklawn Park as well. Big price on the board at 20-1.
8-1 next door. It's the 10 Amazing Debate, who came off the bench and won. Hadn't raced since April, won January 7th.
You know, one time going long was against older horses as a just turned 3-year-old. It was also in the mud. Another one, I wouldn't hold that race against her. She's a live long shot at 9-1.
And stretch out for a horse who actually has hit the board going longer, but stretching back out from 6 furlongs, 8-5 favorite, Truly a Rocket.
That's a short price on a horse who has a tough draw, Greg. You figure she's going to be forward from that draw. You figure with some other horses stretching out in here from sprint races, they're going to be forward as well. I mean, she's the horse to – I guess you would anoint her the horse to beat in here, but that's a tough price to take on her.
It does have sprint speed, so we'll see how aggressive Rafael Bejarano is trying to save ground into that first turn, which comes up pretty quick. Let's go to Paul LaDuca for more.
Yeah, I'm kind of in agreement with Anthony here when it comes to the 11 horse, Truly a Rocket. Now, I do love that this horse was claimed by George Tadero and Jerry Hollendorfer as well. You know, George and Jerry go back, 30, 40 years. So I do love the claim. You know, this horse did go around 2 turns, like Greg said. That was at Louisiana Downs and got to the front end and just faded to third. Now, the last start here at this racetrack, I thought was a decent race. That was against Archie Breds. He's back in, or she's back in, against Arkansas Breds. And, you know, she's going to go around 2 turns. I would think she gets to the front end, or she might get pushed to the front end. You know, you make some good points. There's some other horses here that are stretching out, like Blow Some Smoke, the 8. That horse could show some speed. Amazing. A Debate, another horse that could show some speed. So, you know, I think a lot of the public's looking towards the 2 horse in here, which I am kind of against. When you get a horse that comes from way out of it, going 6 furlongs, you know, the mile distance, it just doesn't strike me. It just doesn't happen. And this is a horse that has gait issues. So now you're going to have a horse that has gait issues and launches from way out of it. Right now you're getting 7-2. I thought the 2 was a kind of bit of a play against in here, just because I just don't like closing sprinters going long at all. I think the 11 is the horse to beat. But one horse in here that would is confusing is the 4 for Al Cates, a filly by Commissioner. She's only had a couple starts on the dirt, but, you know, Al's horse has fired okay. She has one good race there where she came from the clouds, and she's shown speed lately, so maybe she's going to show a little bit more speed today. These Arkansas races are very, very confusing, but I do think the 11 is the horse to beat. Maybe not the horse to bet. Maybe take a little flyer on the 4, but it might be tough to beat the Hollendorfer charge here.
Paulie, thanks. Yeah, can she clear, get loose on the front end? That will be the game plan, you would think, with Truly a Rocket as we get set for post time coming up in just a moment. Meantime, back here to New York, 22-1 on tough one to come up with here in New York.
Yes, no question about it. This horse, you know, I've been red boarding, if you will, or at the very least trying to red board, and this one is tough, sir. This one is a very tough one to come up with. This is an all ball. You got to hit the all button to come up with this one. And you know what? Maybe it wasn't that tough to come up with the all button. Maybe it wasn't that tough to come up with the all button if you were able to, were able to lean on Rosa Veloce, and you were able to lean on Life Changer coming up. Now, you still got to get Life Changer home. Obviously, that's the tough part. But that's the only way I could imagine I would have gotten alive in this pick 5 this afternoon.
There's the big number, and we say it all the time in this Naira Bets late pick 5. It just takes 1, and it's going to be an outstanding payout. So 2 legs to go. If you're alive, we're rooting you home. Let's go back to Oaklawn, loading up here for race 5. Start of their late pick 5, and closing out an early pick 5 that is going to be monstrous. We saw that last race, the 50-cent pick 3 was over $1,000.
Yeah, pick 3s are paying very nicely. I would have to imagine that if I was looking for a little bit of a price in here, Rivercrest Girl, the 5, would be where I would find myself. Decent draw, some success around 2 turns on the turf. She's been okay on the dirt. I'd find her at a little bit of a price.
By the way, pick 5 to the favorite. That's the 11, who we expect to be in the lead over $14,000 for 50 cents.
Wow.
Let's go to Vic Stoffer.
They're off. Good start. Blow Some Smoke, Amazing Debate, and Truly a Rocket shows speed. Mocha Kiss is in the mix as well. Chai Tea going to have to take back off horses. Sweetness 2 and War Music pass her. Then Flowers for Chantel, followed by Rivercrest Girl, Courtney Fay, and the distant trailer is CC Harbor. Truly a Rocket puts ahead in front of Amazing Debate. The outside two are 1-2 to the backstretch. Truly a Rocket and Bejarano a neck in front of Amazing Debate in second. 2.5 back to Mocha Kiss, Sweetness 2, and a 3 wide War Music. Courtney Fay is midfield. She's got about 6 lengths to make up and a length in front of Kelsey Har and Chai Tea. Then comes Flowers for Chantel, Blow Some Smoke, and Rivercrest Girl, and then 8 lengths last to CC Harbor. There's a half-mile left to run. Truly a Rocket and Amazing Debate continue to match strides at the half-mile marker. Amazing Debate is inside. Truly a Rocket is outside. Here's Courtney Fay after the front runner. She's within a length and a half of the lead. War Music has 4 to close. Then Sweetness 2, Mocha Kiss. Chai Tea is in amongst horses and now 8 lengths behind. Then comes Rivercrest Girl, top of the stretch. Truly a Rocket and Amazing Debate. They continue their battle, and Truly a Rocket is about to get clear at the top of the stretch. She's now a length in front of Amazing Debate in second. 3 back now to Courtney Fay. Chai Tea is in the clear now and coming on. Here's Chai Tea in the white blinkers. She's got 4 lengths to try to run down Truly a Rocket. Truly a Rocket, 2.5 in front. Courtney Fay is second. Blow Some Smoke is third. Truly a Rocket is 16th out and still in front. Truly a Rocket now 4 lengths in front. CC Harbor has come from the clouds to get second. Truly a Rocket in front. Truly a Rocket won by 3.5. CC Harbor was second. Courtney Fay third. Blow Some Smoke finished fourth.
Truly a Rocket stretching back out and getting the win. Rafael Bejarano knew what he had to do. He had to be aggressive, got to the front, and it worked out.
This was a gutsy ride. You know, I know this horse was a short favorite, but you can get yourself in trouble with rides like this. Dueling with a 10-to-1 shot around the racetrack. This is a you could be the hero or the goat with this ride. He turned out to be the hero. 6-5 when all was said and done. He took no proverbial prisoners, right to the top. He told Gonzalez, listen, you want to come along for the ride? Come along for the ride, buddy. They just went at it, and he was able to win the battle and the war. A 5-length victory when all was said and done. Held off the late charge, and he held it off by a long way of CC Harbor and Christian Torres.
Yeah, Paulie liked those top 2, and they're Truly a Rocket as the favorite. Starts off the pick 5. Start number 2, we've been waiting. Arabian Night, so impressive on the Breeders' Cup undercard for Bob Baffert, $2.3 million son of Uncle Mo. It's on the road to the Derby in the Southwest tomorrow.
History remembers moments of extraordinary strength, skill, and determination. True greatness is forged by those who fulfill their destiny.
Bet with Naira Bets and get a cash bonus. Bet Aqueduct and Tampa Bay Downs on Friday for a $15 bonus. Go to NairaBets.com to learn more and opt in now.
Sire Sensation Gunrunner is the sire of 6 first crop Grade 1 winners.
God-eyed, and he's going to win the hopeful
Recto Zulu wins the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies,
and Cyberknife has won the Haskell.
Society is going to win the Cotillion and Tampa. They win the Backcars Pennsylvania Derby.
Early voting comes inside and wins it. He wins the Preakness.
Horse of the Year, Gunrunner, standing at 3 chimneys.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
Good to have you with us on this Friday afternoon on our FS2 coverage of America's Day at the Races. It's brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net. Today, Road to the Kentucky Derby picks up tomorrow in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Grade 3 Southwest at 1 mile and a 16th. And Arabian Night showing back up. It's our ABR race of the week. You don't see many horses sell for $2.3 million. This son of Uncle Mo did. He lived up to the billing in his debut. We'll see what we get start number 2. That is a big ask off one start, 7 furlongs, as impressive as it was, to then tackle 2 turns in a graded stake.
Yeah, this was a big effort first time out, and this horse was touted to be as good as he was on debut. 121 and 4, a fantastic final time for the son of Uncle Mo. Good old Uncle Mo. See the Hall of Famer John Velasquez pumping away. 7/8 to the mile and a 16th tomorrow. Heard Paul say Bob Baffert might even be on hand. And, you know, I think that's something that has to be brought up. The way Bob Baffert has used Oaklawn as a little bit of his own personal ATM machine over the past decade. $750,000 for the prep for the Kentucky Derby.
It's a lot of money.
It's like for you Jersey Shore fans out there, the shirt before the shirt, the prep before the prep before the prep. I don't know what to do with Arabian Night. The knee jerk is just like, okay, it's Arabian Night, it's Bob Baffert, and you're going to see this now. It's Bob Baffert, it's the Southwest. John Velasquez is coming to ride the horse. They're going to come grab this $450,000 and go home. I mean, if you think back and look at those 5 names, right? I don't think anybody could tell me who Newgrange is right now, or Super 99. Secret Circle, of course, a 2-time Breeders' Cup winner. Conveyance. I can tell you that Secret Circle is the only horse I would even contemplate mentioning in the same breath with Arabian Night's debut. The rest of those horses I would not attempt to compare him to right now. Now, that's not to say that's going to go one way or the other, but to compare the rest of them would be, you know, unfair because this horse's debut was nothing short of sensational. With that said, he has to handle the break, the distance, the ship, the new surface.
A lot to ask.
It's a lot to ask. At 3 to 5. I mean, he's not going to be 6 to 5. He's 6 to 5. He's even money one line. He's going to be 3 to 5.
Looked sensational first time we saw him. We'll see if he can do it again here and carry that speed that he has. 97 buyer in that debut. As we take a look at Oaklawn Park's Road to the Kentucky Derby, Smarty Jones kicked it off. Southwest, then you got the Rebel and Arkansas Derby trying to qualify and get points to get into that starting gate that first Saturday in May. So we'll see. He lines up against 3 runners for trainer Brad Cox, including Corona Bolt, who, like Arabian Night, stretching out for the first time, but he has 2 starts under his belt. Going to be a lot of fun. We'll have it for you tomorrow coming up on the Road to the Kentucky Derby. Back here in New York, 7th up next. We're approaching the 8-minute mark to post. Let's head downstairs, get a paddock report from Acacia.
And David Jacobson does send out 2 in here. We'll touch on both of those, starting with the number 1, Handsome Cat. And it is nice when you have 2 runners and they have complementing running styles, as he has a closer and a horse that is more of a speed type. Now, the closer is Handsome Cat down to the inside, comes off of a 4th place finish last time out. And I did notice that he is the type of horse that maybe gets a little bit keen early on, even in the chart, saying last time he was pretty restless in the gate. And he was pretty quiet when he first came in here into the paddock, but now that they've got the tack on, he's definitely perked up a lot. So hopefully he's able to keep focused, especially breaking from the inside, and break a little bit better, be able to settle a little bit more early on. A big very, very solid, robust type of horse by Square Eddie, who, again, if there's some pace to run at, that is the name of his game. But his stablemate, physically, I do prefer the number 2, Seas Get Degrees, who also has a lot of early speed, and he is the one that does lure Kendrick Carmouche. He's a horse that is a confirmed front runner, and yes, he was disappointing last time when defeated at a very short price of 20 cents on the dollar over at Penn, but he was intent on the lead, dueling with another horse early, and then it was 3 horses across the track coming into the stretch, so he never had a breather at any point, and all of those horses setting the pace were run down late. I think that he is a major player coming in here, and I do like what I see from him in the paddock. But the number 9, Life Changer, a big player as well, all the way to the outside. This one going out for John Terranova. He's always been a kind of handier, very, very athletic type of horse. And sometimes with the ones that stay in New York over the winter, their coats can start to get a little bit long. They could just look a little bit more woolly, a little bit more wintry. That's not the case at all with Life Changer. His coat looks tremendous. He looks as healthy as he ever has. He's very composed here in the paddock, and he does cut back to the 6 furlongs, which I don't mind at all. He's been effective at both. Probably prefer at the 7, but he comes in off of a 2nd place finish last time that he was just outgamed by Reggae Music Man. I think that he's a very, very interesting one coming in here, and again, just looks the picture of health coming in off a bit of a freshening since November.
Acacia, thank you. There he is, 6-year-old. He's had numerous chances, including 3 in a row, to try and graduate through this condition. This is the last time we saw him, November 26th. And as Keisha mentioned, just missed a Reggae Music Man, well clear of the 3rd place finisher.
Yeah, you do worry about that to a degree, that he's had these chances to get through the condition. But he also had his chances to get through the starter condition, and he knocked on the door, and then he finally got through to the door. Looks like he should have got the job done last time, and maybe if he's outside, he wins. And I don't know, Reggae Music Man has proved himself to be pretty useful. I think today is the day. A little freshening, outside draw, just off the speed. Today's the day, I think.
Here's Handsome Cat to kick things off.
Yeah, we'll see if David Jacobson, like Acacia said, attacks this 2-pronged, one on the lead, one from off the pace. Jason Weyes climbs aboard.
Seas Get Degrees. Acacia mentioned he had excuses last time out. Hot pace duel, and he is quick.
And we'll see if Kendrick's setting the pace here with some other speed around him.
Digital Future. Here's the 3 at 10 to 1 for Ray Handel.
Boy, what a price on this horse. What happened last time? If you draw a line through that last race, he'd be half the price in here today. The thing is, he ran that race last time, and it was awful.
Catch you soon, Chris Englehart, who's had some bigger moments at Finger Lakes.
Plenty of speed. First time Lasix for 3rd off the bench in here. We'll see how fast he is early off the blocks.
Horse coming off the best effort of his career, and a horse who could close into some pace.
Wonder how much the wet track helped him last time. Wonder how much the pace helped him last time. Liam's Fire came back to not fire in a subsequent start.
Ryan's Cat, couple of big efforts, and he faced a really talented horse who he was no match for.
Yeah, King Angelo came back. Has not come back yet, I should say. This horse has not really run back-to-back races like he did 2 starts back. We'll see what he does.
Bezos went by the speed to challenge the 2, and then here's the favorite on the outside, Life Changer.
Bezos is an aluminum pad on again, as well as a new pair of blinkers. He has plenty of speed. Life Changer should benefit from what appears to be some pace in here. He's got the outside draw and the Eclipse Award-winning apprentice.
That is Jose Gomez. Has that weight allowance for a few more days, but has some hardware to take home. He's had a sensational run here in New York as an apprentice, being mentored again by Angel Cordero Jr. You can play all the action by getting signed up started with Naira Bet's $200 deposit match sign-up bonus. When you put in that code MATCH200 at sign-up, and bet any track, anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets at nairabets.com. So we talked about the speed of the 8 Bezos. This is the one who's going to battle him. It's going to be those 2 up front. Seas Get Degrees. We're going to go 2 back to a dominant win. This was in the slop at Aqueduct. 90 Buyer is a 4-5 favorite in a win.
He really liked this track that afternoon. He just bounded over this going that day. He kind of had some company for the first 3/8 of a mile. He just left those horses midway on the turn, and he just kind of glided home. Nice effort under Javier Castellano this day. You know, he beat up on some horses that had trouble getting through that starter condition. Cousin Andrew, upper level, some horses that really have just knocked around that level. You see a big punch just now, by the way. Life Changer just went from 5-2 to 7-5 in one flash. Kind of waiting for that to happen too. I just reached for my phone to go to my Naira Bets account. I put it down because at 5-2 I was ready to go. At 7-5 I'll back off.
Here is the horse that figures to challenge C's Get Degrees, Bezos. He is quick. He wants to get to the front. He's quick already, and now he's adding blinkers.
Other way around, right? I mean, Bezos is just faster than these horses. The former fastest horse in the world. Remember when Bezos was Bob Baffert's next big thing? This was it. This was supposed to be your Kentucky Derby winner 2 years ago. You can wallpaper homes with the future bets from Bezos. Look, this was a good. This horse was okay. This horse has been okay. Punchy Govardhan's done a good job with him. Yes, that's what he goes by. He goes by Punchy. The blinkers go on. I don't know how much faster he wants to make them. Because this horse is just flat out fast. And he's the speed of the speed. He has the aluminum pad again. I don't have that big of a problem with that. The problem is he has horses that are going to be hounding him today. And I think it just puts Life Changer in a beautiful spot.
Big price on him, though, if you like him. 7-1 right now. Even at that price, I believe that's a bit of an overlay. Let's go to Jonathan for more here on the feature.
Yeah, I mean, I think what happened with Bezos is that I think he kind of tricked Bob Baffert for one work, and Bob Baffert said, I got this horse that could be pretty special. That word got out. People started writing articles about future wagers on Bezos, and he never turned out to be that horse. It happens all the time. I just think people got some bad information and ran with it. But look, he ran pretty well last time. I mean, he ran fast early. He got a nice final speed figure. I mean, there's a chance that there was always some talent there, and maybe he's starting to figure it out. But it's a huge maybe, and I don't think he's figuring it out. I just think that he's kind of had some favorable situations that have fallen into his lap. But if he gets pressured, he gets looked into the eye, and he's got a real horse chasing him, I think he's going to have a hard time getting his picture taken. I'm going to go with the 9, Life Changer, to the outside. This is just a horse I think is better. I think he's better than these horses. He's drawn outside. I'm not crazy about the price, but I am crazy about a nice little double here, playing the 9 with the 3 in the last, East Coast Girl. That's how you can pick up a little bit of value with the opinion of the 9, Life Changer. I'll do a double, like I said, with the 9 with the 3, East Coast Girl in the last.
And I'm with you on the 9 in this race, Jonathan, but wanted to touch on the number 3, Digital Future, as this was a horse with that layoff from September to August. He was gelded during that time, and when he came back and won that non-winners of 2 sprinting on the turf before being claimed away from Chad Brown, it seemed like that gelding had really made a significant difference in him. What happened last time? I don't know. He was never involved in the race. I was curious to see what kind of warm-up he was going to have today, and it was a relatively quiet, subdued warm-up out on track. Physically, he looks great. I just find him very hard to trust, and I would have liked to see a little bit stronger gallop out on the track, Greg.
Acacia, thank you. JK mentioned he's going to play this 9-3 late double. That's returning $6 for $1. And there is the favorite stepping in. Feature on our Friday card. Let's go upstairs to Chris Griffin.
And they're off. Working an even line. C's Get Degrees goes right out to the front. Bezos is right there in second. Life Changer's going to track in third. At the rail, Red Cap is going to be Handsome Cat, and driven along in between horses is Catch You Soon, who's now in the 5th position. Ryan's Cat under a tight hold here is in the 6th spot. Second to last is Digital Future, and the trailer up on the far outside is going to be Gaslight. It's a pace duel on the front end. Bezos and C's Get Degrees. They went 22 flat for that opening quarter mile, and they work into the far turn together. They are 6 lengths clear of the rest. C's Get Degrees and Bezos, they are head and head. Ready to join them is Life Changer, who's tracking up on the outside of Catch You Soon, who's still in between horses. Handsome Cat. From the back, trying to rally on is Ryan's Cat, and far back is still Digital Future with Gaslight. A quarter mile left to go, and C's Get Degrees is now kicking for home. It's C's Get Degrees, who's up by 3 lengths. Up on the outside, here comes Ryan's Cat. Bezos can find no more. Life Changer's trying to make up late ground as well. C's Get Degrees is still 4.5 lengths in front with the 16th to go. C's Get Degrees, Kendrick Carmouche, a riding triple, and C's Get Degrees. Life Changer there for second. Ryan's Cat in a photo. Gaslight with Handsome Cat in 1 minute 11.16 seconds.
3, as you heard, for Kendrick Carmouche, intent on getting to the front here. He outquicked Bezos. got the lead and able to keep on going through the stretch.
Yeah, I was a little surprised that Orlando Moreno Hernandez, did not get in front of C's Get Degrees, because it certainly looks like one of them needs the lead, Bezos, and one of them doesn't, C's Get Degrees. And one's going to survive it and one's not. The one that survived it won by 5 lengths. The one that didn't survive it beat 2 horses home, or 1 horse home. Good job by Kendrick, just not relenting on the front end. And again, we see it twice today now, Greg, winning the battle and the war. Once here at Aqueduct, once down at Oaklawn Park, and Kendrick gets the hat trick on the Friday Aqueduct.
Similar trip at Penn National that did not work out for C's Get Degrees. It does today. 3-win day for that jockey, Kendrick Carmouche. We got the nightcap still coming up. Stay with us.
Catholic Boy, one of only 3 American 3-year-old colts in history to win Grade 1s on both dirt and turf, including the immortal Secretariat. A 6-time graded stakes winner from ages 2 to 4, and the fastest 3-year-old of his crop over 10 furlongs.
He's so impressive today, the others didn't even have a prayer. Catholic Boy rolls in the run. Happy Travers.
Dual surface Grade 1 winner Catholic Boy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back with you on America's Day at the Races on our FS2 coverage. Going to Oaklawn in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Pick 4 coming up. $25,000 maiden claiming sprint at 6 furlongs. We start our post parade with Winehouse, Ron Moquette.
Yes, Ron Moquette. This one dropped in for the quarter last time over at Remington Park. This horse is going to sprint on the dirt for the first time. Ramsey Zimmerman. Wow, blast from the past, going to climb aboard.
And we saw him win last week. American Band. Even money, Steve Asmussen claims.
House claim, too. Steve claimed this one for himself. Just got beat a Zop in the local debut off a 4-month break. Comes back in just 2 weeks. Son Keith aboard.
Here's the 3, True Emotion, Ron Moquette's second-time starter.
My man Harry T. Rosenblum. The T stands for Truman. His stepfather, his godfather, was Harry Truman.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Wow, I didn't know that. Free Will 9-2, Joe Talamo, Brad Cox.
Yeah, this one ships in from Delta Downs. First-time Brad Cox. This horse went off favored first time out. Around 2 turns at Delta, going 6.5.
18-1 here on the 5s. Only hit the board once in 4 starts.
And that was at Louisiana Downs for Special Weight Company way back in August of last year. Daughter of Bolt d'Oro. Drops to the lowest price of her career.
Can you explain this name to me?
Step on the foot feet. I have no idea. My
33-1.
My guess would be this is something like this might be a square dance call. I'm not even sure I'm wrong about that.
Old School Flash at 30-1, the 7.
Yeah, this horse has yet to hit the board. Has hit the board twice in 9 starts. last time was at Remington, 2 starts back. This one bounces back and forth between the Villafrancos.
And this one a player just for the fact it's the lowest level she's been in yet.
Yeah, she hit the board a couple of times, actually, in state board competition at Ellis Park last summer. And the 2 local tries have not been very good. But they say sometimes, Greg, the best hop is a drop.
Meanwhile, 4-month layoff for American Band, and she just missed by a neck. Now she goes to the Steve Asmussen barn. Paulie, what do you think at 6-5?
Well, it's a tough proposition at 6-5. You know, this horse dropped and popped last time for Johnny Ortiz, and, you know, the horse ran really well last time out. She, you know, it was weird. She kind of went to the front end, kind of lost interest. She looked like she was actually around the far turn about to, you know, run 4th or 5th and kind of rebid and re-rally. So, like, kind of questions me the quality of that field. But then again, they're maiden $20,000 fillies. And now, you know, she's a 4-year-old now. And sometimes when you drop and pop and you don't get the job done and then you come right back, you sometimes get overbet. I do think the 2 is getting overbet right now at 6-5. But I do think she's one of the ones to beat in here. True Emotion, the 3 in here. Ron Moquette's got 2 horses in here. I actually think the 1's got a big shot, or at least an outside shot. You know, you got to treat this horse as a first-time starter. 2 turf starts and a muddy start. Ramsey Zimmerman aboard. Ramsey's already ridden a couple horses very nicely. And, you know, True Emotion is a horse that got left first time out and then came closing for a distant 4th as your favorite. So maybe with a better break, the 3 obviously can be involved. The 4 in here at 9-2, Free Will. Again, I've been trying to wonder what's going on with the Brad Cox horses. Does the board tell you? I guess the board's telling you this horse is not live at all. I'm coming from Delta Downs. You would think this horse would get bet just because Brad Cox, but not. So I would probably stay away. So I'm staying away from the 2 and 4. The 8 was interesting to me. You know, Donnie Van Hummel is a guy that doesn't drop a ton of horses, and he's usually very, very good at this, and he's a very good trainer. She's a 3-year-old filly with a little bit more upside, where I'm looking at a 4-year-old filly in American Band that maybe we've seen that upside. So I'm going to give a small little look to the 1 Winehouse in here as an upset possibility in here. I'm just against the 2 and the 4.
All right, Paulie, thanks. Yeah, against the 2's an even money favorite for Asmussen just claimed. And the 4 Free Will, the Brad Cox runner, yeah, that's not much money at all for a horse that showed ability, was favored in a maiden special at Delta Downs first time out.
Yeah. This horse, I was stunned this horse didn't take more money.
Free Will.
Yeah, really surprised. Really, really surprised. I know there's a lot of places to go in here. American Band, True Emotion. I was, a lot of musical themes in here, right? Winehouse for the late, great Amy Winehouse. American Band. Surprised. Very, very musically inclined group here.
Rider off the 1. That is Winehouse, Ramsey Zimmerman. Paulie did a great interview with him when we saw him back in the Winner's Circle just last week. He's away from the game for several years, and you can see the emotion on him to be back in the Winner's Circle.
Great
there he
story.
is, loading back up. Let's go to Vic Stauffer. Here's race 6, start of the pick 4.
They're off. Very even start. True Emotion and American Band shows speed. Step on the foot feet is close up. Free Will's on the move. Then comes through the cracks. Collected Glory is third last from Winehouse, and the trailer up the backstretch is Old School Flash. It's True Emotion to take the lead from Free Will. Past the half-mile pole, True Emotion's a neck in front. Free Will is second by 1.25 lengths to American Band, who's traveling very nicely for Keith Asmussen. He's third at the rail and 2 from the front. Then it's 2 lengths further back to Step on the Foot Feet. Then through the cracks into the outside, Collected Glory. Here's Collected Glory going to move up from 6th up into 4th. 5 back to Old School Flash, and the trailer is Winehouse, and the dueling leaders are Free Will and True Emotion. Free Will is outside. True Emotion is inside. Collected Glory just ran right by American Band, and here's Collected Glory in with a chance, 1 3/4 lengths from the front. Final furlong. It is Free Will and True Emotion. Collected Glory is joining them. American Band dives to the inside. Any one of 4, final 16th. Collected Glory half ahead. American Band and Keith Asmussen. Now it's down to these 2, and American Band takes charge and wins. American Band beat Collected Glory. True Emotion was third, Free Will fourth.
American Band, dad and son, team up for a win here. 4-year-old filly by Flatter.
I'd like to see Keith cue this tweet up tonight and send this right back to Vic. He said he went right by him. I'd be very upset if I was Keith. You know, I'm going to tell you something, okay? You get this whole thing as a racetrack kid. You get the whole I watched it grow up. I remember when Keith was born. It's so cool to see Keith Asmussen re-rally along the inside at Oaklawn Park, where he had to have spent countless mornings with mom and dad and, you know, all these racetracks. This was a really good ride. A really good ride, because he could have very easily called it a day on this horse. Instead, he did not stop, and he kept riding, and he got the Duke. Maybe the guy who gave him a leg up will keep an eye on that, and maybe keep him in mind for future mounts.
His second win of the meet. Teaming up with Dad here, who owns him as well, owns her, I should say, at a short price for the win. Back to New York, sees Get Degrees able to get to the front, and it's been a big Friday afternoon for Kendrick Carmouche. He's got 3 today.
It's funny, you know, it seems like that's been the theme around here, right, Greg? Everybody's winning races in bunches. Manny a few weeks ago, Dylan Davis had a 4-bagger yesterday. Kendrick gets 3 today. It's like everybody's anything you can do, I can do better around here. I like it. I like the camaraderie, and more importantly, I like the competition. Keeps everybody on their toes. I like the fact, I love this ride. Take the fight right to Bezos, survive, and this horse just kept on going today. Ryan's Cap made a big move. Looked like he was going to get the place money. Life Changer. Life Changer. I'll tell you what, I'd like to own Life Changer. I would love to own him. 82,000, knocked down another 18 today. Just keeps earning and earning and earning. He doesn't get his picture taken, but that saves you money with Cotley in these photos as well.
1 leg left to go in the pick 5. You have $46 horse in the mix, and this is going to pay with 1 leg remaining. If you are alive, good luck. We'll have the Will Pays when we come back. We're going to preview the weekend as well. Grade 3 Toboggan and the rematch between Drafted and Little Vic. How in the world did Little Vic lose that race? Drafted, 9 years old now. Somehow was able to get up for that win. Still going strong. We'll have a preview coming up.
The return of Sunday Silence.
Sunday Silence surges to the front.
It's Yoshida in front. Yoshida takes charge at the top of the stretch, and Yoshida wins the Turf Classic.
Here comes Yoshida, storming home in the center with Gunnevera. Yoshida! Yoshida has won the 1 word.
The perfect balance. Yoshida.
We take pride in what we do.
For me, it's more of a passion than actual work. I'm an assistant trainer.
Carpenter.
I'm a peace officer.
I'm a jockey.
I'm a gardener.
I'm a groom.
Clocker.
Assistant starter.
Trainer.
ESL teacher. I love what I do.
There's so many jobs that come together every day. It's a collective effort that really makes this ball go round.
We are New York Racing! I couldn't imagine working anywhere else.
For me, riding horses in the morning is the best thing I can do.
New York Racing helps support my small business.
It's extremely important to the New York economy.
Like my dream come true.
This is like a big family.
We are New York Horse Racing.
If you're looking into racing partnerships, you should know they're not all the same. When you partner with Bond Racing Stables, you become a member of a growing family of racing enthusiasts, all guided by 3 generations of experience in thoroughbred breeding, training, and racing. Sharing the excitement at Saratoga and Belmont Park, where we've graced a winner's circle with winners like Giacosa, who was bred, born, and raised here at our Song Hill farm. Get more than just a partnership. Become a member of the Bond Racing family. 3 generations of thoroughbred excellence.
Back with you on America's Day at the Races on our FS2 coverage on this Friday afternoon. Our It's brought to you in part by Claiborne Farm, 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. C's get degrees, winning the feature in New York. 3-win day. Kendrick Carmouche teams up with David Jacobson and took it to Bezos as we're back at Oaklawn in here.
We're an American band,
Sorry,
Greg.
American band. I'm
We're
all
an
over the
American
place.
band.
Dad, son, Steve, Keith teaming up for one that Steve Asmussen owns as well. Let's put a slow meet for both these two.
Yeah, it is. It's. We've seen some different looks. A couple of barns that had slow starts last year have hotter starts this year, or vice versa. This is the Asmussen barn. A little bit of a slow start this year. See if it heats up. Good ride by Keith.
It will. Is
Yeah.
the answer.
That's what happened.
We just don't expect to see it.
Keith
he started to win though a few.
Keith gave this one a good ride.
Really did.
I like this ride. Yeah.
Sure, Dad extremely proud.
Very
of what
important.
he saw there. Even money in the end on American band. Back to New York. Nightcap coming up. Approaching the 10-minute mark to post. In the finale on the card.
You know what I love? I love looking around here and the sun still being up at 4:15.
It's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
It really is. I was never one of these guys that was affected by this. My mom was more, but I'm good here. Look at that. It's one of my favorite
And
shots on
each
the
day,
planet.
we're going to get a little more. I
That's
want
my
that countdown clock to Saratoga.
See that shot? That's my favorite place on earth.
And you mean that. I know you do. East Coast Girl, 9 to 5 favorite right now, Kelly Breen. And Jose Gomez will be aboard. Let's head downstairs to Acacia.
We'll get to her in a moment, but kicking things off down to the inside with a tunnel vision, watching her last race, you couldn't see much of what she did given the fact that it was that very, very foggy day on New Year's Eve. But, I should say, this Colt who was bumped pretty soundly at the start, too, trailing kind of the main pack in a very minor late run, but does get a drop in class in here today, which I do think will bode well for him. And it's interesting for a newly turned 3-year-old. He's very physically mature given his size. He's a little bit more of has a lot more scope to him, very leggy, longer in his frame. So I can see why they started him at 7 furlongs. But for any first-time starter, it's a tough place to begin. So he does turn back to the 6 furlongs in here today. Hopefully gets a better break. And you would imagine took a lot fitness-wise out of that first race, just getting a start under his belt. And he looks incredibly fit in here for his second start for Rob Falcone. The number 3, East Coast Girl, a confusing name given why I thought this was fillies at first, but East Coast Girl, a Ridgeling by Lauvan. This is a very, very solid horse who dropped down to this level last time out, and that was also the first start with blinkers, and it looked to me like he really kind of just hesitated at the start too, and then really steadying back pretty sharply there. It'll really tough go of it at the beginning. So when running late to take over the lead, ended up kind of leaning on the neighbor, was a little bit green switching leads. Just seems like he's still a horse that's figuring things out, a little bit erratic in the stretch, and that was only his second start. He's been very composed and focused here in the paddock, and given his size and substance, he doesn't physically look like the type of horse that would appreciate a wet track. So this surface today should bode well for him, and also hopefully he'll have figured out this racing thing a little bit more. And I would imagine those blinkers were to hopefully add a little bit more focus in too. So he also needs to get out of the gate a little bit better today. The number 4, Helicopter Money, drops in class for the first time, and it did even say in the short comment last time that he had bled, and now as a 3-year-old you can have Lasix in these maiden races, so he does have the opportunity to have that. Now he is a horse that has run once. He didn't do much running after losing his footing at the beginning and not looking comfortably. I do just wish that he had built up a little bit more in his hindquarters and on his top line coming in here from a strength perspective. So he's not carrying any excess condition. This is certainly appears to be the right spot for him. I just do wish I saw a little bit more muscle development and build as he goes out for his second start in this dirt sprint, Greg.
All right, Acacia, thank you. Got to beat this one, among others. East Coast Girl, Kelly Breen, should be forward with Jose Gomez aboard. Just missed at this level last time out. Did not have a great break out of the gate. We'll be back with the post parade for the nightcap in New York right after this.
Bay Downs has a rich thoroughbred horse racing history in Florida dating back to 1926. Celebrities such as Babe Ruth, Jack Dempsey, and John Ringling all attended opening day. In 1981, Hall of Fame jockey Julie Crone won her first career race here, and in 2007, we saw Street Sense win the Tampa Bay Derby and go on later that year to win the Kentucky Derby. Featuring full fields, great turf racing, and a 15% takeout on our Pick 5, Tampa Bay Downs has live racing every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday.
Nightcap coming up here in New York. State bred 40 maiden claiming sprint 6 furlongs, and here's tunnel vision Dylan Davis.
Something I've been accused of having a lot in my life. Looked like a perfect prep to cut back, drop down, and see if she can get the job done against claimers for the first time.
It was meant in a complimentary way, by the way. East Coast girl, 8-5.
She almost got the job done last time. She got a little tired late in the game, cuts back to 6 furlongs, and see if she can get the job done today.
We all want it. Helicopter money.
Lasix for the first time, gets on a dry track. She also drops in class.
Yeah, poor beginning in the debut, and it was against better. Tom Morley, Manny Franco team up 2-1 here. Volker, I can't even say it. Good luck to Chris Griffin.
Volker rules. First fall from
it's
a dam.
Not easy, is it?
First fall from a dam was 3 for 14. All 3 wins came going long. We'll see if this is a prep for a little more distance.
Garth Rowe just claimed Bob Glasaris gets Lasix.
That was easier to say, buddy. First time Lasix. Joe Martorez in for the ride for Bobby Glasaris. This one hasn't seen the starter in over 3 months.
Stablemate next door at 1901.
Yeah, this horse cuts back from a mile first time out. Heeman Hockey climbs aboard for the first time.
And that's your field. Unfortunately, no chance for Kendrick to get number 4 today, the 8 scratch first timer that he would have been aboard. So his day is done. As we look at East Coast Girl, 8-5 favorite. Kelly Breen, Mr. Amore stable, Jose Gomez. And let's go back to last time out in the slop at Aqueduct.
You see it right there. Jose Gomez takes a little bit of a hold of her. She threw her head, and then she kind of caused her own trouble when she steadied herself after throwing her head at the start. Now she rushes up here. She's kind of fighting Jose a little bit here. She gets herself into contention while 4 deep on this sloppy seal track back on January 3rd. And she's going to get herself to the lead on the turn. And, you know, they do so much. She was, just turned 3, just her second start. They're not machines. Contrary to popular belief, they're not machines. And she had every right to get tired after that. It was first time blinkers, so maybe she gets accustomed to the equipment now. I don't know. This is a barn that's really had a tough time of things the last 3 months. I mean, a real tough time of things. I just don't want to take her at a short price. If I was alive, I wish I was alive in the pick 5. I'd have her on my ticket, obviously. I just don't want to take her at 7-5.
She's the one to beat. Short price, though. Yeah, 7-5 with more. Let's go to JK.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't love the price either, but that's the kind of conundrum you find yourself in when playing horses in a pari-mutuel game, is that you have to try to find a way to create value for what you think is going to happen. I think a lot of horse players make mistakes by convincing themselves that another horse has a better chance because of the price, and then they find themselves in poor situations. You know, sometimes you have to pass, or sometimes you have to kind of change what club you're going to use and maybe use a different type of wager type. So, you know, I just think the East Coast Girl is the most likely winner. Now, she's shown us in consecutive starts that she doesn't break well. Now, if she breaks poorly again, there's a small chance she could win anyways, but it feels more likely if she doesn't break, she's in trouble. I just feel like Kelly Breen, Jose Gomez are all aware now. Everyone knows that the blinkers were not going to solve the problem. So in the mornings, and it feels like everything that they're doing has to be based on simply getting her to break. If this was an extremely low percentage trainer in terms of his career, I know he's a little bit cold at the moment, but if he was a low percentage trainer overall, then I would not be as inclined to believe that he can get this resolved. If she breaks, she wins. It's as simple as that. If she can, excuse me, I say she. It's the East Coast Girl thing. It happens to me all the time. I don't know why they do this to me. If he breaks, he wins. You just got to pop away from there. I'm going to bet that she will. He will. It's going to keep happening, but it's not my fault. They shouldn't have named it East Coast Girl.
It gets us all, especially the fast Annas.
He's 100% right, by the way. It should not be allowed.
You think breaks wins for the 3?
I'm not as sold as Jonathan is, but, I mean, Hirsch got me, too. He's filthy. If he breaks, he's supposed to win. If he without the outside first-time starter in the race, I mean, one of these horses would have to have a rocket tied to them.
You can make a case for the 1, I thought, no question, at 3-2.
Oh, no. Listen, as far as being on the lead, it would be hard. I think the 1 can beat the 3, but as far as being on the lead, the 3's supposed to be in front, and that might be enough in here.
Here's Chris Griffin, nightcap from New York. Last one in here, P Money.
He just backs away. Now all in line. All set. And they're off. From the outside, Garth Road has got early speed. East Coast Girl is in between horses. Now puts a neck in front. At the rail holding that position is going to be Tunnel Vision. It's a scramble on for the front end as Helicopter Money's in the early mix as well. Garth Road broke on top but is now taken back to the 4 spot. Is already 4.5 lengths off this runaway leader up front, East Coast Girl. Making up some ground there is P Money, and the trailer is Volker Rules. East Coast Girl and Jose Gomez had to work with 22.67 for that opening quarter mile. Here comes Helicopter Money, ranging up on the outside, moves in closer, is now within a neck of the leader. Tunnel Vision is now fully extended from third, is trying to make up some ground here, might move to the outside. Also, P Money is now within 5 of the lead, the rest with too much to do. In hand, it's East Coast Girl who's got the lead, and East Coast Girl is shaking loose on the front end, and now Kicks Clear is up by 3. East Coast Girl, Tunnel Vision up on the outside here. Green is P Money, also chasing is Helicopter Money. A furlong left to go. East Coast Girl is striding away. East Coast Girl is now 6 lengths clear. East Coast Girl is going to draw away and win the finale easily for Apprentice Jockey of the Year, Jose Gomez. East Coast Girl gets the victory. Tunnel Vision second. Then came P Money in a late run from Volker Rules in 1 minute 12.17 seconds.
Yeah, the Eclipse Award winner takes a nightcap here in New York. Top apprentice, Jose Gomez. Kelly Breen broke today, and that was the difference.
Yeah, broke today. The funny thing is,
did not go off favorite.
Maybe not favorite. Well, the favorite was the one that kind of threw. Tunnel Vision kind of broke like an aardvark a little bit. His head kind of lowered when the gate opened. I don't want to say stumbled, but dragged his head a little bit, more Spirit style, if you will, to bring up some old Baffert runners with the Southwest tomorrow. The favorites won 1-2. Now, for you Gallop Out fans out there, you guys may want to go back to the old DVR or whatever you kids call this device. Watch Volker Rules. Watch this. Watch the inside of your screen when you're watching the replay, and you'll see Volker Rules absolutely flying If you're into the whole brevity of gallop out, sir, for a little Big Lebowski reference there. Absolutely
It
flying.
can mean something, no question.
Caught the winner before they got to the clubhouse turn. Absolutely flying. And that was the one with the dam who won all the races routing. So
3-1, 7-6, 36 to 1 shot, I should say, in second. But your top two choices on the board in the top two there. Surprised that this 3-year-old did not go off your favorite.
Stunned. Absolutely stunned. Yes. And it was late.
Yeah.
The money poured in late.
All right, we're back at Oaklawn. Race 7, mile and a 16th. It's a $50,000 maiden claiming event. And here's a look at Deputy Connect Brad Cox. Joe Talamo off since May.
Yeah, off since Derby week, drops all the way in for the $50,000 tag. This horse burned some money. This horse, how about this, Greg? This horse was 2-1 into We the People back in February.
Yeah, we're at second to that horse.
Yep, last year at Oaklawn.
Here's Cyclone. Took money last start. Kim Poole off the claim.
All for 14 in his career so far. Going to make the first start off the Poole claim on the race.
Speed with a 3, Steve Asmus and Ricardo Santana Jr.
Yeah, tried this level in his last two. Finished second in both, tiring late.
Stretch out start number 2, a Robertino Diodoro claim.
Pair of blinkers go on as well. That's not as successful a move as the 20% off the claim is.
Stand Proud, we'll see next. The 6 faced a decent horse named Cawcab for Brad Cox last out.
He drops second for a tag. This horse face claimers at Churchill before going to the bench. Gets a brand new pair of blinkers for the second start off the layoff.
Colonel Barton, this is start number 2, just claimed by Mike Pewich.
Sprint Speed last time out, a pair of blinkers and a rider change to Tyler Bays.
And Jedrick, Mike Lauer, Nick Juarez.
He's had a lot of chances as well. He took some sneaky money 2 back when he was in for this level in the waiver. They tried Special Weight Company last time out.
Didn't
Both
run
times
bad there.
No, he didn't run bad in either of his last 2 starts, but he kind of just does the same thing throughout his career. He makes up ground and never gets there.
There he is, 6-1. 3 minutes away, 7th from Oaklawn. Let's go to Paulie.
Thanks, Greg. Yeah, let's take a look at the favorite right now on the board, and that is the 6, Stand Proud, for Rafael Bejarano and John Ortiz. Now, this horse last time out was not bad when bumped up, but the race 2 back was a pretty good race at Churchill Downs at that time on September 25th. You know, he was the 5 horse that day, come closing up for third, 2 lengths behind Floki's Flight in there. Floki's Flight came back to win by a pole in his next start at Churchill Downs. Now, John Ortiz has given him a little bit of rest. They brought him back in a maiden special weight race, and he didn't run that bad, and he actually broke dead last in that field. So I can understand why the public is going with Stand Proud. You know, a lot of horsemen will put blinkers on a horse that does have trouble out of the gate. Your worry with a horse like this is he's 5 now, and this will be his 5th career start. So, you know, I do think he's the one to beat in here. The others in here, when you look at the 3, Absolute Courage, Greg, you mentioned speed, and I would think this horse is going to go to the front end. Now, Robertino Diodoro always is right behind me, and I asked Robertino, where are you going here with asset basis here? He said, I told Christian, you know, if we break sharp and the 3 doesn't, go. If not, lay off the 3. I do not want to get in a pace battle. Let's just lay off the hip of the 3. So that might happen. He also thinks that maybe the 6 can improve with a little bit of speed. That being said, you know, when you have a lot of horses in here that want the front end, or there's really not a lot of horses that like to make up a lot of ground. We talk about Kim Poole. He's had a monster meet. He does claim the 2 Cyclone. The thing about Cyclone is he's not that experienced around 2 turns, and can he make up any ground? But I also think he might sit in a good spot. So I'll take a tiny bit of a flyer on the 2 in here, but I have a feeling that the 4, asset basis, because Chris Diodoro was right behind me giving instructions to Torres, and they felt like they were instructions that he wants to be in the winner's circle.
There's asset basis, the one Paulie was just talking about. Didn't get off grade 2. Slow start in the debut. Now stretching out. Blinkers going on. This horse might try and take it to this field.
Colonel Barton might be his biggest adversary on the front end today, because it's the same kind of thing. Well, without getting off slowly, the blinkers, the stretch out. I would just imagine that they try to send him as well from the outside draw.
Nightcap, New York, and Clean break finally for East Coast Girl, and he gets the win. Third time the charm. Jose Gomez, Kelly Breen, Mr. Amore Stable.
Ah, you said he. Did you write that in big black letters on your PPs? Or did you just get it?
I just got it.
Good job.
That's the only one who was not foibled.
He was able to just get away from these horses in here. Sometimes when you get to these lower level claiming races, if you're able to get to the lead and establish, that's enough. And that was enough today. Tunnel Vision didn't like being inside. Once Dylan Davis got him outside, he was able to survive the pace duel, the place battle, I should say. It helped that P Money was lugging in for about a 16th of a mile under Heeman Harkey. It took him a while to right that ship, but there was no doubt about it today. East Coast Girl out of the maiden ranks in start number 3.
Pick 5, $1,262. Well, a couple of them were tough, but certainly Storied Fella, very difficult one to try and come up with. And what otherwise, fairly formful.
Yeah.
All right, back to Oaklawn.
Beat the Big A starts tomorrow at Oaklawn, my friend.
Yeah, explain that real quick.
Southwest. So you go to Naira Bets, and you can go to Beat the Big A. There's a big picture of me that says I'm kind of a big deal. We do nothing but tell the truth over at Naira Bets. And you just can click on the link, and it'll take you over to the contest page. $5 mythical wager, 20 prep races. If you can beat the Big A, you'll be entered into a contest to win a trip to the Test of the Champion.
Belmont Stakes.
Belmont Stakes.
Third and final leg of the Triple Crown. That's fantastic. All right, so good luck to everybody. And tomorrow's the first chance.
The Southwest. First
right,
of
to be
20.
part of that.
Yep.
Good luck, everybody. Loading up here for the 7th. And you're right about certainly that 7 going to be quick, you would think. Absolute Courage, what does that mean? Where's he going to fit in here? 5-year-old trying to break his maiden for Steve Asmussen from post 3.
That's what I like. I think he sits the trip behind the other two, sprinting, stretching out.
Let's go to Vic Stauffer for the call.
They're off. Awkward start, Deputy Connect. Good start for Cyclone, Absolute Courage, and Colonel Barton. These 3 are quick. Jedrick has asked for speed to stay close, but he's passed by Asset Basis and Deputy Connect, and the early trailer is Stand Proud. Absolute Courage, the leader, from Colonel Barton to the backstretch. Absolute Courage, 3/4. Colonel Barton is second, the same margin to the gray Cyclone, tucked in at the rail in third. Asset Basis is in the white cap with the black silks. He's fourth and 2.5 off the lead. Then it's 2.5 back more to Deputy Connect and Jedrick. Stand Proud is at the back of the pack as they head up the backstretch, and the leader is Absolute Courage. Absolute Courage, a half length now from Colonel Barton in second. Cyclone stays at the rail. Asset Basis is threatening to run a good one. He's smoothly into third in the white blinkers and less than 2 from the front. Deputy Connect and Jedrick have 2.5 to make up, and Stand Proud will have to pass them all in the final half mile as they go into the far turn. Absolute Courage continues to lead. Absolute Courage ahead in front of Colonel Barton in second. Now Jedrick is moving 4 wide. That forces the hand of Asset Basis, and these two go after Absolute Courage. Jedrick puts ahead in front. Stand Proud begins to unwind. He's up to 5th now, but he's only a length and a half off the lead. Deputy Connect is next. Top of the stretch, Jedrick and Absolute Courage. Asset Basis between horses to the outside, and Stand Proud, and here's Stand Proud after Jedrick. Jedrick has a short lead. Absolute Courage still part of this battle. Stand Proud to the outside. Deputy Connect splits horses. Any one of 3 or 4 can win it. Stand Proud in the center. Jedrick down to these 2 with Deputy Connect coming on in third. Jedrick, Stand Proud, Deputy Connect, Jedrick in front. Jedrick beat Deputy Connect. Stand Proud was third. Asset Basis finished 4th.
Jedrick, 12th time. The charm, Nick Juarez, Mike Lauer. 5-year-old breaks his maiden.
A lot of lead changes in here, Greg, when they turn for home, and the last one proved to be the winning one. He holds off Deputy Connect, storming between horses. Colonel Barton. Who's that on the outside? I got the wrong license plate there. Who's that outside?
Stand Proud.
Stand Proud. Yeah, Stand Proud was the other one coming to 6th. 8-1-6.
All right, so Jedrick with the win. That is it for the Big Ang. Acacia Clement going to join me on set, but you're not done. You're going to head over to?
I got my binoculars.
Call some races
Going
tonight,
to call
right?
the card at the Yonkers Raceway tonight, a place I spent many a night as a kid, and listening to the Bullet, Bob Meyer, the late, great Bob Meyer, filling in for John Hernan tonight. So if you're not doing anything, head over to NairaBets.com when they wrap the Oaklawn card, and got 10 fresh ones at Yonkers.
What
at the
times
Hilltop.
are there?
7 p.m. first post.
Okay.
So
Look
we'll be up
forward
there
to
tonight.
it. Hear the
Thanks.
Big A on the mic later tonight. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Have a fun night.
Yeah, I'm going to go battle the Van Wyck now.
Good luck. Going to take a timeout. We'll be back. In case you're joining me again after a timeout, we're going to preview Grade 3 toboggan coming up this weekend. Drafted 9-year-old debut coming up after he just got a win on the Gravesend over Little Vic. He'll face that one again, including the red-hot Pirate Rick as well, as won 4 in a row. Stay with us.
Whatever you use to predict future stallion success, breathe slowly and gaze at the desert's first great championship race. Curlin won it. So did Street Cry, Arrogate, and now, in a time even faster than Arrogate's, Mystic Guide. The cold hard fact is, after this, he was rated the best horse in the world. Mystic Guide. New to Darley.
Who you betting on? How about an app created specifically for horse racing? Naira Bets. We specialize in thundering hooves, fist pumping, and boosting your bankroll with robust weekly promotions. And offer betting tips from actual horse racing experts. Bet all day and night, nationwide. Get the action and thrill of horse racing with Naira Bets.
Game Winner first got started and ran a very, very impressive maiden race to Del Mar. Came back in the Del Mar Futurity and again won very impressively at 7 furlongs. And then just continued that unbelievable 2-year-old year. Went on to win the American Pharoah Stakes at Santa Anita and then the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. And then was obviously crowned 2-year-old champion. Got the precocity to do that, plus the stamina and everything that his whole family indicates.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
The industry has a few things that we have to take care of better, and one was the aftercare of the horses.
If we did nothing, these horses would end up in very bad places. That can't happen.
We have a social responsibility to make sure that thoroughbred aftercare is also #1 on the list.
The cost could be the entire industry. We have to take care of these horses.
I remember that meeting at Belmont Park. It was a dream.
It's different than any other program that was put into place.
It is a first line of defense for those who are concerned about what happens to the equine athlete after he's done racing.
We started with some 21 organizations across the country, and now we're up to over 82 facilities throughout the country and giving away almost just under $25 million.
It's the one shining accomplishment that we have that we can point to say we really do love our horses.
We're back on America's Day at the Races on our FS2 coverage, brought to you in part by Naira Bets, where you can play it all. Go to nairabets.com and bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Back at Oaklawn, we have an objection. Finished 8-1-6-4. Second place finisher has lodged an objection against your winner here, Jedrick. And we'll take a look. We've just been told no change. So it's Deputy Connect Joe Talamo. And by this point, it has already happened. I'm not sure where it actually happened. Stewart said no anyway. 8-1-6-4 result will stand. And Jedrick, picture time, 5-year-old, 12th start of his career. Mike Lauer, Nick Juarez with the victory here in race number 7 of the feature coming up. With me on set, welcome back. Good to see you upstairs.
Yeah.
Keisha Clement, how are you?
Nice to be here. It's a little bit warmer up here than downstairs. I know it's not bad today, but we all know I struggle when it's below 60. So we're really happy to be back with the team this weekend, filling in, and always great to come home, and looking forward to talking about some great racing with you, Greg.
Yeah, we have a great weekend coming up. We're going to preview that Grade 3 toboggan in just a little bit. Not just that rematch with Drafted and Little Vic. Pirate Rick on a roll, coming back in 6 days, so we'll get to that. Going to Tampa Bay right now, Oldsmar, Florida. On the turf, mile and a 16th, 16,000 claiming racehorses who have not won 2 lifetime. And it is the Skipster on the rail. There's a lot of thirds, 6 thirds and 16 starts, the one to beat on the board at 2-1.
He is taking a drop down in class after facing Starter Allowance Company on the turf last time, finishing second. And he was wide the entire time that race. 3 wide early. There were a couple horses dueling up front. He never saw the rail, and that was, again, significantly tougher than what he's going to face today. His race at this level, Tubac, was taken off the grass, so he gets to run on the turf today. But look, he obviously makes sense off of that last effort, but given the fact that he has so many in the money finishes, I think he's a little tough at a short price.
Wow, and the 10, it's only had 1 start on the grass. It was sprinting. It was here in New York at Belmont, actually, in a state-bred maiden special. Didn't show, I guess showed brief pace in there at least, but was nowhere late. That horse taking money at 7-2.
It's interesting, and Kathleen O'Connell always does really, really well at Tampa and spotting the horses too. And she tried to get this horse the first time that he ran in her barn on the turf last time. Same thing, that race was taken off the grass, and so had to run on the main track. And he ran okay that day. And it seems like she's pretty keen to get him on the grass today. So we'll see what happens. The New York bred by Central Banker, first time going long on the turf today.
And 7-2 as well. You go back in Airman, the 4 in the past performances, and this horse actually off a maiden win was third in a stakes race on the West Coast.
Yeah, and the last time he ran on the turf was here in New York in the Artie Schiller, and he's getting the biggest drop in class today. It could be it's a little bit of a question mark, and it's tough to go through his form because he's just been recently so far over his head every time that it's hard to really figure out what kind of horse he actually is, and I think that's why he's 7-2, a little tepid right now.
A lot better horses, showing up in his running lines for the 4 Airman. Let's get JK's thoughts here from the 9th from Tampa.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the race kind of starts with opposite post positions, right? I think the 1 is very interesting. It is a short price, but, I think in turf racing, especially in places that have firm ground, I think being down towards the inside is an advantage. You get to save ground, and I've whether it's Santa Anita or Gulfstream or Tampa, and it just feels like that's the kind of trip you're going to get with the Skipster on the rail. This horse is tactical, should be able to work out a nice trip from the inside. And then, if you want to go towards the outside, to the 10, I think there's a little bit of value there as well. But now you have to work out a trip. Is this horse going to appreciate the turf, but has been running well enough on the dirt? I'm going to go down to the inside with the 1, the Skipster. I just think this horse is going to work out a good trip.
That's still your favorite. The 7, Angels Magic. That's one who opened a 6-length lead early on. In a race last time out, wound up second at this condition. We'll see the tactics if they're the same today. Looks like potentially a little more speed in this race. Jason Beam, the call. Here's race 9 from Tampa.
Down, Antonio Gallardo. Antonio with a winner on today's card. Kingstown goes in. They're in the gate. And the race is on. Airman away a step slow. The Skipster from the inside got away well. Here's Bustin' Up. To that one's outside, though, and Bustin' Up, intent on the lead, is Angel Suarez, and he has it in that opening 16th of a mile. The Skipster shimmering the road, and out deep, Angel's Magic. They make up the next flight. Then comes the Gray Tap into Your Beer, who's out in 5th, about 3.5 off the top. It's in a length and a half more. Back to Just Praise, who's 5 or 6 off these leaders. Kingstown tried to get over from the outside. Is about the 2.5 path. Then 3 of them in the line at the back. Pivotal run. Between horses comes Reiner. And Airman, after that slow beginning, is 10th and last. As up front, Company for Bustin' Up. As up alongside Angel's Magic. And those two go through that opening quarter mile, 22-1. And they've opened up now. Up on the front end, Bustin' Up and Angel's Magic. They've opened up 6.5, 7 on the Skipster, who's got to love seeing those two do battle early on. Shimmering Leroy is to that one's outside 4th. Toward the inside, Just Praise is 5th. Then comes Kingstown, who's 6th. Got to be about 11 or 12 behind the duo up top. Then comes Tap Into Your Beer. Airman is out of last. Pivotal Run and Reiner, those two at the back. 40, 5-3, a taxing opening half mile as Bustin' Up goes to the far turn. Still hounded by Angel's Magic on the outside, but Bustin' Up now a length in front. Angel's Magic is next. The Skipster continues to close in, is third, but only 5 behind now. It's 2 more back to Shimmering Leroy. Then comes Just Praise, another 2.5 lengths. Starting to rally up, Pivotal Run from the back as they come to the top of the stretch. Bustin' Up had to work early on. The Skipster continues to glide closer on the outside. Back to third is Angel's Magic. Just Praise advances down toward the inside. Here comes the Skipster. The Skipster takes over now. Bustin' Up back to second. Just Praise looking for room. Kingstown down along the inside, also starting to unwind, and Pivotal Run down the outside. The Skipster clear with 50 yards left to go. Just Praise, Pivotal Run. The Skipster got the trip and got the win. Second was very close. It looked like Pivotal Run put a nose into second there. Third also very close between Just Praise and Airman.
Well, Bustin' Up, Angel's Magic, they ran off from this group, gave a very hot pace that the Skipster benefited from, gets the win as the favorite.
You could even hear in Jason Beam's call, the Skipster sitting in the catbird seat, so to speak, behind that hot pace tool up front. And even here, he was trying to pull himself up a little bit with Jose Batista, urged him on, and then he kicked away, and he gets the second win of his career on that drop in class, finding the right spot at Tampa Bay Downs. I'll be back at Tampa again next weekend. Looking forward to it, all the good stakes they have there.
They have a big weekend coming up. 1-3 might have been the 9 for third there. We'll make that official coming up. We're going to look ahead to tomorrow's stakes action here in New York. Grade 3 toboggan, and a look at the group that is going to line up. And here we mentioned Drafted, Little Vic. They were 1-2 last time. I still don't know how Drafted got up to win that race.
What a heartbreaking defeat for Little Vic this was. And, I mean, the old veteran Drafted, he ran a huge race once again, but he was so far back. And watching it, even the replay again, it didn't look like he got there in time, and he did by the narrowest of noses. But Little Vic was incredibly game in this performance and Drafted, winner of the toboggan in 2022 as well. Will try to defend his title.
Yeah, that race you're seeing the gray here who was last. Here he comes. He's going to get up and win this in a photo. His toboggan last year, just visually, was one of the most exciting races to watch. That was incredible from him last year, so we'll see if he can repeat this year. Obviously, 9 years old, he's still got some big races in him.
It's really cool. He's banked over $1.1 million. He's a 9-year-old. It is the last year that he could even race in New York, but he just shows up every time. He's a veteran. He feels like an old friend that we've been watching for many years now.
Yeah, 10-year-olds not allowed to run on the circuit, so take advantage of this last year here for Drafted. Pirate Rick, meanwhile, what a roll he is on. He's reeled off 4 consecutive victories. And now Lynn Cash, his trainer, is going to bring him back in just 6 days rest because he feels like he could be potentially lone speed in this race.
And it makes sense, and we learned the hard way throughout the last year when Lynn Cash was bringing these horses to Aqueduct, Double Crown, and the Kelso, a perfect example. He's spotting them really, really well and finding the right spots for them. And this horse is been on a tear, and he won his last 2 here at Aqueduct, most recently over Happy Farm. This 104 Beyer speed figure, he has really stamped himself as a major contender. He's got some old veterans to deal with, but he's in tremendous form right now.
You can start, I mean, that's the race of his life.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's in tremendous form.
And it's a quick turnaround, though, too.
Big figure, quick return. Is that something to take pause with?
You would think he'd be the perfect horse for the proverbial bounce. So we'll see what happens.
Might be all alone on the lead, however, for Lynn Cash. Stablemate going to show up as well. Double Crown's going to be a much bigger price, 6-time winner.
Cutting back in distance after trying 2 turns. Last time we saw him upset the Kelso at over 40-1 back in October. Again, another example of Lynn Cash bringing horses to New York and running well in these stakes races recently. And he ran in the likes of the Cigar Mile and ran against some decent horses in his last few races. It hasn't been to the level of his Kelso performance. Let's see if he can repeat it.
All right, it's coming up race 7 Saturday. We hope you join us on our FS2 coverage. That should be fun tomorrow. See if Drafted can get it done. Pirate Rick, though, I mean, he is just blazing quick.
And he does look to be the lone speed. And I guess that's the question. Even if he does regress a little bit off of that huge effort last time and the quick turnaround coming back after just running on January 22nd, will we see him not run his A game? Will it even matter if he's so comfortable on the lead? And today at Aqueduct, it looked like you really wanted to be on that inside speed, and that could bode well for him if the same case is tomorrow.
Look forward to a grade 3 toboggan, 7/8 of a mile coming up in the Late Pick 5 program from here in South Ozone Park. Oaklawn, their feature up next. Todd Fincher Got a big weekend for 3-year-old fillies coming up, including Yolanda, who here in this featured 8th race on the Friday card. Ricardo Santana Jr. will ride. This ran 4th at Oaklawn in a tough group. We'll be back.
It's Rock Your World in command. Medina Spirit making no progress. And it's going to be Rock Your World to take them all the way in the Santa Anita Derby. He's undefeated and wins by 4.
You're watching America's Day at the Races on FS2. It's brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net. Today, feature coming up on the Friday card from Hot Springs, 6-furlong sprint. It is a 30,000 starter allowance. 3-year-old fillies lining up in this spot. And we talked about going to break. Yolanda Who, Todd Fincher. Going to talk some Olivia Twist, hopefully, a little later on in the program. Going to be in the Martha Washington tomorrow on the road to the Kentucky Oaks.
They've got a big day of stakes tomorrow at Oaklawn.
Yeah, it'd be a fantastic card tomorrow, including road to the Derby with the Southwest. Arabian Night back in action for Bob Baffert, who was brilliant on that Breeders' Cup undercard.
I remember seeing him when he sold at the OBS 2-year-old sale, worked 9 and 4, and that Uncle Mo, that the top line sales consigned, was just the talk of the sale, and that sales price reflected that as well.
$2.3 million so far. Has lived up to it one start in. Big ask, though, here in start number 2, going 2 turns, shipping, all of it, taking on Graded Stakes Company. We're going to have that for you live tomorrow. Here's our post-parade. Mazingo kicks things off. Tom Amis.
An interesting entry for Tom Amis because she's eligible for this condition given the fact that she's an Arkansas bred, has not started for a claiming tag like the others.
701 Miss Haley next door, Joe Talamo.
Broker maiden last time, it was for maiden 20, but she did it impressively, much the best that day.
Here's the Todd Fincher filly, Yolanda Who, favorite.
2-time winner in the field. She's run quite well in a couple of her races, coming off a 4th place finish in that allowance field.
Debut winner by 8 lengths in the slop against maiden 20 and moves to a new barn, the 4.
Claimed off of Robertino Diodoro. She pulled away very impressively from that field, but it was a low and slower race.
Barn does not win a lot first time out. Ron Moquette did with this filly.
Summer, yeah, I'm guessing with that one. But yeah, she was game to fight it out and get the win that day on debut.
Speed last start from Trolling Tigers, the 7.
A little bit of a freshening from there as well. Didn't show any speed in her debut. Showed a lot more last time out.
Big number on the 8 here. She's storming.
Broker maiden against fellow Arkansas breds on debut. Didn't do much running last time out.
That was a good one she faced. Classy Bridget, but yeah, she did not run much. And Star Pose, 1101.
Last time winner. It took her a while to get there. She finally found the right spot. Is today the right spot, though, as she steps up.
And if nothing else, we should see speed outside with a 10.
She disappointed last time out, Julia Chardonnay, on the synthetic. Gets back to the dirt today. She broke her maiden at Horseshoe Indy, wiring the field 2 back.
2-1 favorite, Pauly Yolanda Hu, Todd Fincher. Is she for real here in the feature?
You know, actually, I think she is for real. This was my best bet of the day. I think she's got a very big shot here. And the reason why is, you know, you go back and you look at her last effort. Now, it was against Twirled. Now, Twirled had lost first time out at Kentucky Downs, then broke her maiden by about 9, came back to win, and Key to Success is another nice runner. And if you watch the running of that race, Ricardo Santana actually broke on top, and then other horses rushed up, and he got it squeezed kind of out of there and ended up like 5 wide and actually made up some ground in deep stretch. And actually, I thought the horse got up for 3rd and just missed. So I think with a better trip, the 3 is going to be a handful in here for Todd Fincher. You know, the one for our colleague Tom Amos, for Jerry Karoom, who's always here and always dressed to the nines, you know, is taking a tiny bit of money with a couple of decent works here on the racetrack, a bullet work 2 back. So I would think this horse would show some speed. You mentioned the 10 a little bit too as well, Greg. I'm on board with you. I think that's the other horse to catch. And then I'm not going to try to pronounce the 5's name, but Ron Moquette's horses have just been flat running. And, you know, I always say the hardest thing to do is to, you know, go against winners for the first time. So I do think the 5 is a player in here because Ron's horses are just firing. But I do think the 3, if she can stay out of trouble, it's going to be very interesting because she did try to show speed. I don't know if she has the same kind of speed as some of maybe the 10 or some of the other horses, but I do think if she can lay close, I think she's going to be really tough to handle deep in the stretch. And, you know, in the last race, the 3 is going to be a heavy chalk. So 3-3 double for me to end the card. It's about $13, $14 if you want to try to slam it.
Yeah, that one Paulie talked about in the last huge scratch with Empire Pass. Probably the speed coming out of that race makes, so it would seem, for Peter Miller look like a standout.
Yeah, that does look like it's going to make things a little bit easier for her in that last race. But you got to get through this one where I agree that Yolanda Hu looks to be the one to beat. But I think that it's a pretty interesting race for these young fillies. We're guessing Samoria, the 5? The 5. She was actually the favorite, Greg, on debut for Ron Moquette. She was off a little bit awkward in that race. From an outer post, she was wide throughout. She was able to get through, and it looked to me like she's still figuring things out, but she was incredibly game. And that shows to me that she had overcome some adversity in her first start for a young filly. I love horses like that who show a little bit of tenacity in their first start while clearly still figuring out what racing's all about.
Barn doesn't win a lot first time out. He did with that filly. Doesn't win a lot after the coming off a win. We'll find out if she's able to do that today. She obviously has some talent. Yolanda, who the 3 we're looking at, 9-5 in here. And then sandwiched between those 2 is Luxme, who was dominant in the debut. It was a sloppy racetrack at Churchill. It's for a low-level 20 maiden claiming.
Went right to the lead. She had a little company, put that one away, and then just pulled away from the rest of the field so impressively. Was for maiden 20, and it was a first-time starter for Robertino Diodoro, but she was a bit of a price, too. The 2 horses that finished behind her did both come back to win, including Sweet Slew, the second-place finisher, got a 61 Beyer speed figure in her subsequent start, so that definitely flattered Luxme. She is stepping up in class, and she is going to be on a fast main track for the first time, but she was dominant in that first start.
2 minutes to post here in the feature. Let's go to JK, get his thoughts.
Yeah, look, I don't want to talk negatively about Paul's pick with the 3 Yolanda Hu. I think she's likely. So, but I'm going to pick the 2 Miss Haley in here, and the reason is because this is a horse that back November 10th. This horse, you know, obviously is a 3-year-old now. Is a 2-year-old November 10th. All thoroughbreds had the same birthday, January 1st. So Miss Haley was a 2-year-old, and she earned a figure that day on Timeform US of a 73. Now, there's an opportunity, I think, with speed figures. When there's 2-year-old races, they sometimes want to try to keep those numbers down a little bit. They don't want them to get too high. They want to try to keep them contained. I just think that she's going to take another step forward now as a 3-year-old. She's been off for 78 days, and if she can improve just a little bit off of that 73, she's kind of right in the wheelhouse of a horse like Yolanda who a couple races back went in an 81. She did run an 88 last time. That was going 5.5. But I think she can get at least in the ballpark, and she's a much more attractive price. By no means am I trying to talk you off the 3. I'm just trying to give you another idea with the 2, Miss Haley.
And an idea, there she is at a much better price, 8-1. As next door, Yolanda Who, taking all the attention at 9-5 right now.
Yeah, she's a short price, Yolanda Who, and she does boast being the only 2-time winner in the field as well. So that, I think, holds some weight, too, given her experience and what she's faced. But I can understand where Jonathan's coming from with Miss Haley, and she was impressive last time. She was much the best and was pressing 3 wide on the turn in that race, and it was an impressive effort. So let's see if she can keep it going. I don't know if the number 1, Mozingo, is quite good enough, and you look at how Tom Amoss has spotted her, but I do think it's really interesting because, as I said, she comes in off a layoff and she's eligible to run for this race because she is an Arkansas bred. Clearly wants to protect her, not run her in a claiming race, give her another chance now. And she faced Janet Is Ready at Prairie Meadows last time, who's won 2 subsequent stakes since then. I thought at a bit of a price, if she could come back off the bench, she was a little intriguing.
And she probably know how much Tom Amoss values speed. She was quick in the debut.
Yeah.
She has a couple of really quick works coming back as well. Maybe, I don't know what happened in that stake, but she was nowhere near the front.
Yeah, she was totally out-footed. She just didn't really look comfortable in that stake that day. And obviously, maybe there were some questions because it was followed by a pretty good-sized layoff. We haven't seen her since July. But I thought the spotting was very interesting. As a horseman, you have the condition book. And my husband is an assistant trainer, always joked with me. He said, "I'll always be faithful to you except with the condition book." And that's very true. That's where I usually lose my husband, just to the condition book, is looking for races, because you sometimes have to be really creative with certain horses, and you have to pay attention to things like this and races that your horse might be eligible for.
There's a cutoff time, though, right?
For what?
You've got to put the condition book down.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And especially if it's after a day or there's been some tough beats or something like that.
Well, here's Mozingo. So this is the Tom Amoss filly, off since July, Prairie Meadows. And whenever you win first time out in a straight maiden race, you obviously have some talent. She was bet to even money favoritism, too. 6-1. Little interesting here for Amoss.
She's a little interesting, 6-1. I'd be curious to see what she does. And maybe she's just not quite good enough, but I thought the spotting intriguing, taking advantage of being an Arkansas bred, and especially when you have a short price on Yolanda who I do still think is the one to beat, but she has some stuff to prove as well.
Tom believing, I think he believes he has the best 3-year-old filly in the country. Goldenrod winner.
Yeah, who's your filly? Very talented. Excited to see what's in store for her.
I believe Fairgrounds.
Yeah.
We're going to see her coming up pretty soon.
I think we'll get to see Wonder Wheel coming back at Tampa the next month as well. So it'll be fun to get a chance to see those 2 match up.
Things getting serious on the road to the Derby and the Oaks. Of course, we're going to have that Kentucky Derby prep tomorrow in the Southwest. So we hope you join us for that on our Saturday coverage on FS2. Favoritism now shifted here. It's the 5, the Ron Moquette filly, who was bet down to favoritism in her debut, and it was at Oaklawn, December 31st. And she could get, if there is a pace duel in here, it looks like there could be, nice stalking trip.
She overcame a lot in that first start, and she was very game. Even if she's just a little bit more focused today, you'd imagine that she would run well. Can she keep the momentum going and make it 2 for 2?
There's Miss Haley, JK talked about, and he's going to play the 2 stepping in. Joe Talamo, another one who could benefit from sitting just off the pace in here. Let's go to Vic Stauffer. Here's the 8th, the feature on this Friday card from Oaklawn.
Here comes She's Storming. Lux Me will be next. Star Pose goes in. The last to go in is the Little Drink of Water, Julia's Chardonnay. They're at the post. They're off. Yolanda Who, She's Storming, Lux Me, Mozingo, and Julia's Chardonnay. These 5 out for the front. Then comes Ms. Haley, followed by Samoria, and the trailer up the backstretch is Star Pose. A scramble on to the lead. Twirling Tigress and Julia's Chardonnay are 1-2. Twirling Tigress a neck in front. Julia's Chardonnay is second by a length and a quarter to Yolanda Hu and Luxme right together third and fourth. She's Storming is fifth with about 4 lengths to make up. Mozingo moves through inside of Samoria. At the rail, she's 6 off the lead, so is the Arkansas bred Samoria. 3 back to Ms. Haley, and the trailer is Star Pose, and leader is Twirling Tigress. Twirling Tigress, a neck in front of Julia's Chardonnay in second. Then comes Luxme. She's a length and a half off the lead. Yolanda Hu stays at the rail. She's Storming in the center. Samoria has 4 lengths to make up, and here's a big move from Luxme to challenge Twirling Tigress. Luxme and Twirling Tigress. These two are matching strides with Julia's Chardonnay to the inside, and Yolanda Hu. Luxme is now a half length in front of Twirling Tigress in second. Then comes Yolanda Hu, and she's Storming. Luxme now clear, and she's got it. Luxme in front. Luxme won by 2.5. She's Storming got up to beat Yolanda Hu for second. Twirling Tigress finished fourth.
One of the most successful barns in the country had this filly first time out. She won, moves to Scott Becker's barn, and she keeps it going.
Turns out to be a very sharp claim, this filly by McCracken, now 2 in a row, and she was right to the lead on debut. She showed a little bit of another dimension today, and then she just ended up kicking away from the rest of this field, and turns out that maiden 20 race at Churchill back in November, pretty live race with now the top 3 all coming back to win their subsequent starts.
You talked about it before they loaded. It was a live one, and Luxme 5-1 coming out of it to win right back again. Scott Becker, Francisco Arrieta. Becker owns part of this filly as well. We'll have the prices for you when we come back. Nightcap to come. We'll preview the road to the Oaks as well when we return. Stay with us.
Here comes Malathaat. Here comes Clariere on the outside. They're coming to the finish, and it's got to be Clariere. Nest, much the best. She won by better than 10 lengths. Cody's Wish on the outside. Cody's Wish with the upset in the Fargo. Malathaat grabs the lead in deep stretch, and Malathaat has won the Personal Ensign Stakes.
Curling, the classic sire.
RaceLens is the most in-depth product in horse racing with unique features found nowhere else. True odds, predictive analysis, and pace projection. RaceLens. It will change the way you follow horse racing and take your game to the next level.
Bet Aqueduct for a chance at taking home your share of $5,000 each week. Hit the final pick 3 on Sunday and win a share of $5,000. Opt in at NYRABets.com.
Introducing a Stallion, as top class as they come. In 22 career starts, he won or placed in 12 graded stakes, competing in 15 grade ones, earning over $1.7 million. His undisputed speed is evidenced by 7 100-plus Spire speed figures, a 3-time grade 1 winner, Raging Bull.
Now more than ever, it's time to get with the program. When shopping for your next race prospect, consider that New York breds start with an advantage. Our New York breds run for serious green. At Saratoga Race Meet, New York bred maidens run for up to $88,000. New York bred allowance horses run for up to $100,000. And New York bred owners can collect awards of up to $20,000 per horse per race. So get back with the program. Seriously.
Thanks for being with us on our Friday coverage of America's Day at the Races. It's brought to you in part by Hill & Dale at Alapa. Feature in the books out in Hot Springs. We have the nightcap still to come. Luxme, now 2 for 2 for 2 different barns.
Big win once again. Filly by McCracken, won by 8 on debut, won by a couple lengths today. Francisco Arrieta in the saddle, and a very sharp claim by Scott Becker, who dipped in to take this one after her first start, and she immediately rewards the barn, making it 2 in a row.
Dominant here. So Arrieta, Becker, owned in part by Charles Ritter as well. McCracken filly, as you mentioned, 2 for 2. And returns $13 for the victory. 51 to 1 shot. Wow.
She's storming with a big effort.
4.83 finale on this Friday card. 6 furlong sprint, $12,000 claiming race, and massively changed with the 5 Empire Pass of Scratch, who was the one to catch on the front end.
Was 7 to 5 on the morning line, taking a huge drop in class, had a lot of speed. Yeah, totally changes the way that the race seems to shape up. So you see, So It Would Seem at 3 to 1 right now does look to be the one who's also taking a big drop in class, but has run at some lower level claiming races before. It looks like she could be the one dictating things on the front end.
And public all over it. I potentially Betcha, not only I thought a major player in here, and she's 5 to 2. She could be the one potentially up there in front. So Betcha, interesting. Long time off for Betcha. By the way, that last win, Francisco Arrieta, number 800 in his career. So congratulations to him. We're going to take a timeout. We're going to preview the road to the Kentucky Oaks for 3-year-old fillies when we come back. She is undefeated. Perfect 3 for 3 for Todd Fincher. Going to be making her Oaklawn debut in the Martha Washington on Saturday. We'll have live coverage. We'll preview her chances when we come back. Olivia Twist.
Eclipse champion Blame, standing at Claiborne Farm.
We are back. Good to have you with us on America's Day at the Races. We have the nightcap coming up out in Hot Springs, Arkansas. We'll get to that in just a little bit. We also have a sensational program coming up on Saturday, both in New York and at Oaklawn, and the road to the Kentucky Oaks for 3-year-old fillies and the road to the Derby in the Southwest. Live coverage of both those races, the Martha Washington and Southwest, will have for you, so we hope you join us. And the Martha Washington, race 5 on the card, mile and a 16th for 3-year-old fillies. Defining purpose, we're going to hear from Paulie, his thoughts on that Kenny McPeak filly, but Olivia Twist, undefeated, perfect 3 for 3 coming in. All those wins in Remington. Can she make that transition to Oaklawn in our Kentucky Oaks snapshot? She has been impressive. And take a look at what she's accomplished to this point. The dam actually produced Skippy Longstocking, who was a multiple graded stakes winner, routing on the dirt.
And a big contender in tomorrow's Pegasus World Cup for Saffie Joseph Jr. too. But yeah, Olivia Twist has done absolutely nothing wrong. She's 3 for 3, combined 19.5 lengths. for her wins, coming off of a statesman in the trapeze. The fastest race she ran was that second start back in November, when her first time going a mile. So she's going to stretch out to the mile in a 16th. Tomorrow, she will have to take her show on the road, come over to Oaklawn Park, but she's been impressive, and it's just dominated everything that they've thrown at her so far.
Showed a new dimension here in this. I mean, both start, including a 5 furlong sprint in the debut, she was on the lead. Do you like the fact that she showed she could sit, stalk, and win?
I do. I think it's important, and I think it was probably an experiment for Todd Fincher and his team, too, to see if she could rate a little bit and be able to settle, because having a filly with speed is always a dangerous commodity, but then sometimes you can really run into trouble if there's other confirmed speed in the race. She's shown now that if need be, she can kind of sit in that stalking spot and pounce and take over pretty easily. And I love these stall shots when you get to see the horse's personality. She looks like a sweet filly.
Can she keep it going? Could be a big weekend for 3-year-old fillies for the Fincher barn. He's got Christian Doral, Flying Connection as well in the Borderplex. That's a prep for the Sunland Park Oaks. This is a big one for him as well. Can she take that perfect record, keep it going? Paulie, I know obviously Defining Purpose we talked about for Kenny McPeak, going to take a lot of attention as well.
Yeah, I would think she would, Greg. She was so impressive in her last start for Kenny. Now, she got Lasix for the first time in her career. She's not going to get Lasix back, but she's won before without it. And she comes out of that special race, the Goldenrod, right? We talk about who's your filly, and I've been talking about it from the outset, and I'm still sticking to it. There's not a better 3-year-old filly in the land. She beat Pretty Mischievous by a pole. Pretty Mischievous came back to win the Untappable at Fairgrounds in her next start. Defining Purpose comes back to win the Year's End by about 6 lengths. I mean, everybody that's faced Hoosier Filly has come back to win. So, I mean, I do think she is probably the one to beat. But, you know, Olivia Twist, like you guys are saying, has done nothing wrong. And Todd Fincher's horses have been running well. So I do think Kenny's got a big shot with Defining Purpose. She's a very nice filly. Breaking news, guys, we got 2 scratches in the King Cotton tomorrow. Long Range Toddy and Radical Right. And just in, Brad Cox has scratched Hit Show in the Southwest. So Corona Bolt has one charge, and Arabian Night look to be having maybe a showdown in the Southwest with the late scratch of Hit Show.
All right, Paulie, thanks for that. So road to the Kentucky Derby, a late change there. Olivia Twist, though, back to the Martha Washington. We'll see. I like the fact, too, it's just been gradual with her. Starting at 5 furlongs, then a mile. Now she gets a mile and a 16th. She's passed every test so far, but now, in a sense, for the first time, she's in the big league.
She is, and she's going to be facing some tougher competition. It's not the saltiest bunch that she will face as she continues on that Kentucky Oaks road, but she's definitely going to be facing some legitimate foes, including the likes of Defining Purpose, who has faced the big dogs, so to speak, with the likes of Hoosier Filly, as Paul was mentioning. So she beats her on seasoning and maybe a touch of class, but it's really hard to ignore an undefeated filly at this stage.
Does Paul work for Tom Amos now?
Oh, maybe. I don't know. You should hire him as this promotional guy.
Tom feels the same way about her. I know that much. Nightcap coming up from Oaklawn. We'll get to race 9 when we return. That is the one to beat. So it would seem Peter Miller, who had been out on the West Coast, came to Oaklawn, and that was a tough group. 50,000 starter allowance last start. The drop in class today off 12 days rest. We'll be back.
War Dancer. The momentum continues with recent stakes winners on turf and dirt. Dancing Buck going wire to wire in the Grade 3 Belmont Turf.
Dancing Buck has opened up on the field. It is Dancing Buck by a half dozen lengths.
And 2-year-old filly War Saichi with a wire-to-wire win in the Ladyfinger Stakes.
War Saichi asserted her authority immediately out of the starting gate, and she has not relinquished the lead.
War Dancer, the #1 third-crop turf sire in North America. Proud to stand in New York.
This season at Oaklawn, we've got more of everything. More of the top thoroughbreds in the world. More days of live racing. And the largest purses in our history. All at a completely reimagined Oaklawn. Come be a part of this historic season at Arkansas's only casino resort. It's
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than America'sBestRacing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. America'sBestRacing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
Back with you on America's Day at the Races on our FS2 coverage. It's brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net. Today, nightcap coming up. First, though, we're going to preview the big one coming up tomorrow on the road to the Kentucky Derby. The road to the Derby that runs through Hot Springs, it has become significant series over the years. The Southwest run this weekend boasts winners like classic winners Lily T, Pine Bluff, and the pride of Pennsylvania, Smarty Jones. On the eve of the big one, we look to 5 of the best editions of the Southwest ever run.
In 2012, the Southwest was run in split divisions. Bob Baffert trainees captured both runnings, including Secret Circle, who would go on to win the Rebel a few weeks later and finish second in the Arkansas Derby. The next year, as a 4-year-old, he raced only twice, but won the Breeders' Cup Sprint and was runner-up in voting for champion sprinter. He finished first or second in 14 of 16 career starts and earned more than $3.6 million thanks to his score in the 2015 Dubai Golden Shaheen. Smoke Glacken splashed home by 8 convincing lengths in the 1997 Southwest Stakes with jockey Craig Perret aboard.
Glacken's gonna smoke him good by a good 6 lengths.
It was his 7th career win in 9 starts. Trained by Henry Carroll, Smoke Glacken closed out his career with wins in the Riva Ridge, Jersey Shore, and DeFrancis Memorial Dash en route to an Eclipse Award for champion sprinter. Lawyer Ron gave trainer Robert Holthus his record 5th Southwest win in 2006 before capturing the Rebel and Arkansas Derby.
A 16th to go. Lawyer Ron digs in.
After a trainer switch to Todd Pletcher, Lawyer Ron continued his success as a 4-year-old, winning the Oaklawn Handicap, the Whitney, and the Woodward.
He crushes them in the Woodward. He won by 8.
Before a narrow defeat to the mighty Curlin in the Jockey Club Gold Cup. It was enough to solidify him as a champion older horse in 2007. Essential Quality had already earned 1 championship as a 2-year-old in 2020. His highly anticipated 3-year-old debut came in the Southwest, where he continued his unbeaten streak, besting a field of 7 that included Jackie's Warrior.
And Essential Quality is just too good.
The son of Tappet earned his 2nd championship for his brilliant sophomore season, highlighted by a dramatic Belmont Stakes score and a pair of Saratoga wins in the Jim Dandy and Travers Stakes.
Essential Quality has won the Run Happy Travers.
The most accomplished Southwest winner of all time is undoubtedly Smarty Jones. He arrived in Hot Springs undefeated in 3 career starts. Jockey Stuart Elliott rode him to a narrow victory in the 2004 edition.
Smarty Jones continues undefeated, wins the Southwest by 3/4.
The Smarty Party continued with impressive wins in the Rebel, Arkansas Derby, Kentucky Derby, and Preakness. His storybook season came to a heartbreaking end with a defeat to Birdstone in the Belmont Stakes. But his legendary campaign earned a year-end championship for top 3-year-old colt.
Some great editions of the Southwest. We're going to have live coverage again tomorrow on the road to the Kentucky Derby of this year's edition. And, you know, as Paulie told us, a late change in there. Hit shows coming out of this race. We're still relatively very early on the road to the Derby.
It is, as you heard even Jonathan mention earlier, all thoroughbreds turn another year older on January 1st. So we're not even at the end of January. So these are very newly minted 3-year-olds. And as we march on closer and closer to the first Saturday in May, even money on the morning line on Arabian Night. And I think that he will be a very short price tomorrow because he was absolutely dazzling in his first start. And $2.3 million son of Uncle Mo.
That is coming up tomorrow. I hope you join us on the program to catch it. Right now, it's the nightcap on this Friday card. 6-furlong sprint, $12,000 claiming race. And so it would seem the 3 we'll get to in a second. Here's La Cheetah with Walter De La Cruz aboard.
We haven't seen this one since June of last year, coming off of a second-place finish, and seems to be a rather lateral move in class.
So it would seem his face a lot tougher than what probably going to face in here. And comes back, though, in just 12 days.
Yes, a big drop in class, but it is a significant drop with that short turnaround. Has some tactical speed, which I think is a benefit.
Careless Heiress, slight drop down.
Has been one that we saw mostly running onto PETA and turf. Ran a disappointing effort on the main track with trouble last out.
Second off the claim, Chasing Shadows.
Bit of a drop in class for this one as well, but a long time since she's seen the winner's circle.
Distorted Secret, Steve Asmussen just won last time out. That was in the mud.
First off the claim, off the back of a win, I thought was pretty game in that effort. Let's see if she can keep it going.
Cut back in distance for the 8.
And she's a big price, and rightfully so. Slight drop in class as well, but she has not done too much in the latter stages of the races in her last few.
Becky's Tattoo actually got a pretty big figure for that win last time out at Oaklawn.
She was about 20-1 in that last effort. Let's see if she can back that up. It seems like they've had a tough time figuring out exactly where she belongs running on turf and dirt.
Cage Bear, big number at 25-1.
Was far behind Becky's Tattoo last time out.
And major play here in Betcha has been off since June 30th of last summer and could be forward as well.
Has the layoff to contend with, but her speed is very, very dangerous. She has a lot of early speed. You can imagine Gabe Size will be aggressive from that outside post to get her to the front, especially with the scratch of your favorite.
She's 6 years old now. As a 4-year-old, she had several races that would just dust this group. One as well last year. That was her last start, but we haven't seen her in a long time. Let's go to Paulie for more on the nightcap.
Yeah, I mean, a nightcap that when you look at the race, obviously you look at the Peter Miller runner dropping completely down in class. Now, the last time this horse was in this kind of company was a $20,000 claimer. I mean, that's obviously a $20,000 claimer at Del Mar is not a $5,000 claimer here at Oaklawn. But we got to discern, is this the same filly? Now, she had put blinkers back on the race before this. I guess the one upside that you can get out of this is that, I mean, this horse has been in a lot of barns. It's a little concerning the horse is in for 12.5, but the horse has been in for 16 non-2 twice before. So maybe this is actually where, you know, she kind of belongs. So, you know, she's the horse to beat in here. There's no mistaking now. Now the 7 in here, Distorted Secrets or Steve Asmussen off the claim. Seems like his barn is starting to heat up, and I would think this is the other horse in here that's going to be very, very close. And the horse that can throw the monkey wrench into this whole thing is the 11 Betcha on the outside, because this horse has got a ton of speed. You know, is she going to be able, or is she going to hinder the 3 here a little bit? So would it seem, or so it would seem. Sorry. I don't know. I'm a little confused. I'm a little tired, Greg. We got a long day tomorrow. Let's get 3-7 home here, or 7-3, one or the other, and have a good day tomorrow. I love you both.
Right back at you, Paul. I love you as well. Conserve your energy. It's going to be a big Saturday.
Yes, indeed. Paul's the best. We love him.
What'd you I mean, wow, 9-5 is getting a little short here, but he thought 3-7. I think you got to throw the 11 in the mix there as well.
I think I agree. I'm concerned about the layoff, but the early speed is really, really a key, because it seemed like Empire Pass was going to be so strong with setting the pace early on with that horse out. It kind of leaves it a little bit more open-ended. As far as So It Would Seem is concerned, she actually broke really sharp last time out, but she couldn't clear some of the other faster horses. So if you do see Gabe Size be really aggressive with that gray mare to the outside Betcha, and she's able to clear over So It Would Seem, that could be really the biggest piece of it for her to be able to dictate things on the front.
Post time coming up. Let's go to JK. There's the gray filly. Does she get to the front, Jonathan?
I'm a little bit torn on the 11. And maybe when I'm done talking, I'm a little bit confused like Paul. Not nearly as tired as Paul, but I'm a little confused as well. So let's see what happens at the end of this rant that I give. I'm a little confused because Betcha on paper makes a lot of sense, but she comes back in here off a 211-day break, and they enter her for a tag when she's been running protected, and she's been running well protected, meaning that no one can basically take her from the connections. And they bring her back off of that long break, and they run her in a spot where they can claim her if they want. Now, this is where the claiming game can get tricky. Are they kind of playing possum a little bit? They bring a 6-year-old mare back off a 211-day break, and they dare you to take her? Or is it like, she had some issues over this 211 days, let's let someone else kind of have try to navigate those situations? And I'm not really sure which one it is. If it's the one where they're trying to play possum, she gallops in here with her draw, with her speed, and her past performances. But the problem is it one of those situations where they kind of want to lose to the horse? I told you I didn't know what I was going to do. I'm going to go ahead and go with she gallops. So, but if I'm wrong, I at least told you all the reasons why I'd be wrong.
I'm a JK, and look, she's got a bullet drill on the comeback trail as well. It looks like she's the quickest in here. Her figures dust this field, including her last race. And even maybe she doesn't have to be even her best self to win this race.
It could be. I like that JK gave us some disclaimers because I agree. I mean, if she didn't have the layoff, that's the thing that really does concern me. And to be fair, I understand what he's saying about her coming back and running for a claiming tag when she had been running in those starter allowance races. But this was a horse that back in October of 2021, they had claimed for $5,000 as an Indiana bred. So she's run for lesser before. Maybe it's let's get her in a spot where she can win, get her confidence back up and see what happens. Maybe just get a win after having that long break.
She'll be the far outside post. Can Gabriel Saez clear and get to the front? Nightcap from Oaklawn coming up. So it would seem the 3, the one on the board to beat for Peter Miller. Let's go to Vic Stauffer for the finale.
They're at the post. They're off. Good start from the inside for Lucida, who goes to the front. Betcha away in a second, so it would seem third. Careless Heiress, Distorted Secrets, Chasing Shadows, and a Simona's Choice in the next flight. Then Caged Bear, and the trailer up the backstretch is Becky's Tattoo. Lucida is fastest and leads past the half-mile pole from So It Would Seem and Betcha. The second choice and the favorite are after the front-running Lucida, and here's So It Would Seem within a neck of the lead. Betcha's now back in third and 2.5 from the front with Careless Heiress, Chasing Shadows, a 4-wide Simona's Choice, and Distorted Secrets, all about 5 from the front. Cage Bear has 10 lengths to make up, and she's 2 in front of the favorite, Becky's Tattoo, So It Would Seem, and Lucida right together. Betcha is 2.5 back in third. She'll have to go from there. Final furlong, So It Would Seem has the lead. Lucida's back in second. Betcha is third. Here's Chasing Shadows in the center, and Chasing Shadows comes with a chance as Lucida is battling back on So It Would Seem. So It Would Seem is hanging on her left lead, and that puts Lucida right back in the race. Chasing Shadows third. It is Lucida in front. Lucida beat Chasing Shadows. So It Would Seem finished third, close for fourth between Betcha and Simona's Choice.
15-1 to close out this card at Oaklawn. Lucida, this was a tough one to find.
It was, but Walter De La Cruz, her jockey, did what we thought might happen with Betcha. He put her right on the front end, and she was the one dictating the pace, and she was certainly aided by So It Would Seem, who was taking that big drop in class. You heard in Vic Stauffer's call, hanging on that left lead. She wouldn't switch over. She seemed reluctant to switch over to her outside lead and find another burst of steam. In that case, Lucida was able to dig back in and re-rally inside. It was a heads-up ride, and it paid off.
Big number. Yeah, looks like loses second late as well. Chasing Shadows there. Coming up tomorrow again on the road, not only to the Kentucky Oaks that we talked about with Olivia Twist, but the road to the Derby picks back up at the Grade 3 Southwest. Now just 2 runners for Brad Cox. Corona Bolt, one of them going to be stretching out 2 sprint starts, 2 wins, including a stakes win at Fairgrounds, and now we'll try a mile and a 16th.
2 for 2 and was really impressive. 97 Buyer speed figure in the Sugar Bowl, which was this win on Boxing Day last time out. And this called by Bolt Oro, as we've seen his offspring just be so precocious and be doing very, very well out on the racetrack. And you would think with that pedigree stretching out in distance wouldn't be a problem. It is interesting, he's run 2 races. They've both been sprints, but he did this so easily last time out, Greg.
And I know it was start number 2.
Yeah.
Same figure Arabian Night did in his debut, 97. But that's a big number to get early in your career. So we'll see how he handles this stretch out. Dam did produce 5-time winner on turf, proven strategies. Next door, stablemate Brad Cox, Jace's Road, has already won going a mile and a 16. Did a gate to wire in the gun runner at the Fairgrounds.
And I think the fact that he has a win at the distance and has some more foundation than some of the others as well really could be a key for him. Jace's Road ran a very good race back in the Iroquois, his first time going a mile and a 16th. Didn't fire, in the street sense, a wet track. You can even see in the short comment, had dropped his rider loading, was very, very tough to handle that day. And I'm sure it was very gratifying to see him put everything together last time out in the gun runner. And that was the first time that he'd wired a field too. So showing a little bit more speed. Curious to see, as Corona Bolt just have some sprint speed and he's stretching out, how that might shake out as far as the pace is concerned.
The rich get richer. Is it showdown between these 2 barns, Brad Cox, Bob Baffert?
It does look to be that way. I think that Bob Baffert has the ones that seem to be the biggest challenge to Arabian Night, if you think that he's that good. And so far, he's made it seem like he could be.
Corona Bolt, Jace's Road for the Cox barn. And is he a superstar? We'll find out more about Arabian Night. Second start of his career coming up tomorrow. We'll have live coverage on the road to the Derby. We kick off at 12:30 Eastern. Tomorrow, check your local listings. That's on FS1. It was C's Get Degrees. Intent for the lead. 3-win day for Kendrick Carmouche. Able to go gate to wire for the win. Truly a rocket. Winning the 5th out at Oaklawn. Jerry Hollendorfer, Rafael Bejarano had to try and clear over from the far outside post. Arabian Night, we'll see him in the Southwest start number 2 for the $2.3 million runner. And Olivia Twist, perfect record on the line.